Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We gonna do it like this. Ride with me. Yeah. Ride with me. I'm feeling good today, I'm good today. So turn it up and let the music play. Sun's out, not a single rain cloud in the sky. And Mrs. Green got a smile on her face. Okay, check. I'm feeling blessed, I'm feeling blessed. I got some bills, but got no stress. I ain't gon' stress, The cards was dealt, he holds the deck. Knowing that, tell me why I'm gon' fret. Switch it up, yo, como estas, muchacho, vámonos. Like the grill, everybody down for dominoes, ha. Yeah, we having a good time. Everybody in the hood and it's good vibes. Good vibes every time we meet up. No one beefing, so we throw the piece up. Throw your piece up, celebrate your seed into the kingdom of heaven, cause we gon' dance the streets. Come on.
Woke up this morning and I think I'm gonna change the world. I'm looking back on how I thought things would stay the same. I know it's gonna be, yes I know it's gonna be a good day. I got sunshine on me. Not worry about those rainy days. He will supply my needs. That's why I fully trust in Him. I'll never go a day without you by my side, by my side. Woke me up this morning, sent me on my way, chilling with my neighbors. Man, it's a new day. Yeah. Somebody moving from the table, let me get a seat.
5:49 on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Yes, 5:49. But we had to wait because we had a special guest, so we couldn't get started before time. We had to get started right on time. And we're so glad you're tuning in to Barbershop Talk. Now listen, let me introduce the show for persons who may be tuning in for the first time. Go ahead and share the word if you are here. Miss Johnson said she's here front and center.
Miss Johnson, Miss Johnson.
We'll explain Miss Johnson to our guest soon. Anyway.
Miss Johnson, no calling in for you today.
No, we answered the phone for Miss Johnson today.
Not today.
No, she called me answer it.
We got back up the day.
We're so wherever you're listening from, we've listened on Glory 93.9. Thank you so much on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you're tuned in. Welcome to the show, Barbershop Talk. Now listen, this show, we tell you all the time, nobody in this room is journalists. Now, I don't know if our guest is journalists. The rest of us, we are not journalists. This is the Barbershop Talk, Barbershop rules. There is no agenda. There is no parliamentary procedure. It is raw. It is uncut. And we asking the hard questions. I spoke to this wonderful gentleman a few days ago, and I said, man, listen, I would love to have you come to our show. He said, I'll come. I told him there's a lot of things being said. A lot of persons have some questions. Some things are being said in his absence, behind his back, and we want to say it to his face. And he said, I ain't scared. He said, I ain't never scared. You know? So we are so glad to have the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition, the leader of the Free National Movement. I got to put in a plug in there for the church that I have led for the last 8 years. He was born, I can't say born and bred, but it started off in the Highway Church of God in the Grove, Josie Church. Then transferred over to Southland and then move on from there. His mother and I share the same birthday, February the 3rd.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So his mother's an amazing, amazing, mighty woman.
Well, you get two good things going from today, Foxhill and St. James.
Yeah, I don't know why Kenyatta trying to put his man in Foxhill.
I trying to claim him.
No, this
Who's a liar? Who's a liar?
Sean, if you could pump fake, we ain't having a day. No pump fake in the day. We welcome you, Mr. Leader. Glad to have you with us, man.
No, it's good to be here. Thanks very much for the invitation, and I'm looking forward to a candid discussion. No holds barred.
Let's do it. Let's get going. Please chime in. Share the link. If you're driving, please watch the road. Watch the road. You don't need to watch the radio while you listen. Just watch the road, drive, and if you want to call in, I know we can do call-ins today. I ain't sure we can have time to. We have so much things we got to deal with, and while we got the good leader here, and I believe he coming back. I believe after the day, most persons who came here from both political, well, not both, all three political parties, because we had his dear friend and brother.
It's three?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. His dear close friend and brother Lincoln Bain was here sitting in that same seat. They're close. They're very.
Yes.
Don't mischaracterize my relationship. I wouldn't describe it that way.
I love it already. Ding ding, round one begins.
You gotta keep it real.
Ding ding. Let's not. What's the problem with you and Lincoln Bain?
Listen,
Let's start there, because
I'm
Lincoln
here-
Bain is a very dear friend of Kenyatta Taylor.
I'm here.
They are personal friends.
I'm here to speak about national issues and the challenges that the Bahamian people have.
Right.
And so I'm not going to waste my time with sideshows. I'm going to focus on serious issues that affect the Bahamian people and the vision that I and our team have for transforming this country. And my next responsibility is to hold the government accountable for what they promise to deliver on behalf of the Bahamian people. And as we oppose them, we propose what we would do when we take the chair. That's my focus.
There you go.
Let me say, I want to say one thing about this, though, because we spent a whole lot of time on what happened in Rawson Square. Who started, you or Lincoln?
Listen,
I get asked that question. No, because everybody's asking that question. They had a whole show on that. We had a whole show, people dressing back and
the
forth.
fact that you're asking that question worries me a little bit, only because
Right.
in any setting you've seen me in, I'm focused on what the issues are.
Right.
I don't get caught up with personalities. I'm of a view that we are in a dispensation. We're in a period now in Bahamian history where there are some people involved with politics and they are prepared to grandstand to garner attention. And they're prepared to be disrespectful if they believe that level of aggression is going to win them favor with a certain demographic. I'm not on that run. I've been there and done that. Suspended from school twice, expelled on the third time. I've been a serious man in the past. And so what I'm focused on now is transforming people's lives. Activism is not a fundraiser for me. It's not to gain attention and
Right.
benefits that may come because people believe they could incentivize me to test some people, antagonize some people. So I don't honestly, I don't want to waste time
I love it.
because I believe the election is going to be decided between the two major parties. Others can, in fact, affect the fortunes of one or the other because right now, Bahamians are on nobody run in a serious way. There's apathy and there's an anti-establishment sentiment, not just in the Bahamas, but in other countries. So we don't underestimate anyone,
Sure.
but we certainly are not going to spend time focus on them when we do not believe they are pursuing governance. They're pursuing disruption,
Right.
and in this case, to be pointed, disrupting the FNM, not the PLP. That's the reality. And the question is, on whose payroll are you?
Whoa.
There you go. So I have a
Alright,
question. So it's been
I
said.
opened the floor. And I
Yeah,
said,
man, because
I
you-
want-
you-
No,
I-
man,
I-
you open with shots
Yeah,
fired.
yeah.
I won. I won't get to a Carlo question, but go ahead. So go ahead. Let's
So there we go.
Let's dive in.
Yeah, there we go. That's the So
Where is
So-
the camera?
Let's dive in.
it's been said multiple times on this show, and it's been asked, what has Michael Pintard done in his career? What qualifies him to be a leader of this country? Please explain to us why you are a good leader, in your opinion, and how you plan, in your words.
I like you answer that question. You answer the question right, because I know we all talk about it. We all talk about it.
Not y'all.
Y'all say
It wasn't y'all.
Yeah, that's true. It was decided.
It was them. It wasn't me.
It was the two barbers. It's Barbershop
Listen,
Talk.
I ain't gonna hide. I ain't gonna talk long. For me, it's the it factor. The day can decide whether I can know if my brother is the it factor today. I want to hear the real. I don't want the honorable. I want to hear the real Michael Pintard. I want to loosen up this tie. I want to hear the real Michael Pintard.
So
That's what I want to hear.
here's what the thing was. Is Michael Pintard, does he have the track record? Does he have the CV to be Prime Minister of the Bahamas?
Okay, so let's again. I'm going to answer the question candidly, but let me say this. One of the problems with politicians being preoccupied with defending themselves is they have less time available to defend the Bahamian people, which is why we sign up for public life. But having said that, since there is a segment of the population that's preoccupied with, in my view, PLP propaganda, let me dive in. The Prime Minister has represented Cat Island, Wamki, and San Salvador, and I can speak fast because it's a lot, right? For 30 years. This term is the first term the Prime Minister will have something that you could touch and feel that he's been able to put in the ground. And all of those are incomplete. They will be incomplete at the time of election, whether it's the airport, whether there's a series of seawall or roadworks. He was in charge of the Ministry of Works that he had the capacity historically to address these issues and didn't. He was Deputy Prime Minister, could address it and didn't. Was in charge of water and sewage and yet did not put potable water in Cat Island despite the fact a study had been conducted that allowed him to do it either in South Central or North. He could have done it in stages over the course of 5 years or 10, 30 years, 30 years. I've been in Marco City for nearly 2 terms. When we were in, we went short, less than 4.5 years.
Right.
And this time they can go short again. But nevertheless, I've gone into a constituency and distinguished myself on the ground, working with all Bahamians, FNMs, PLPs, and others, have been able to construct a park, again, that could not be constructed in the last 25 years. And I consulted all former members of parliament that are alive to get their guidance on what happened, why they were unable to get it done. And with their guidance and the participation of the public, have gotten that done. We service all persons in the constituency, and they don't get help on the basis of their voting record. They get help on the basis of them showing up at the office and making a request. That's my reputation on the road. The main color that matters is the color of the flag. So I rock red, but we serve all. And that's what my track record is. So I'm willing to put my representation at so to your question on qualification, my record as a member of parliament stacked against a 30-year member of parliament, I have a better track record in the constituency. I don't tell people he doesn't help individuals. That's patronage. Patronage ought to go hand in hand with creating the right environment so that people who are minded to work hard and smart will be able to make it independent of the politician who come and go. He does not have that track record. There is no economy in the constituency that he represents for 30 years. So if you have confidence that he has the ability to do something transformative for the Bahamas, you are out to lunch.
Okay.
That's the first part.
Go ahead.
So let me. So 30 years.
I want you.
Well, and he said in the House of Assembly that like I didn't try and I didn't ask. 30 years. So and again, let me.
That on the paper.
No. So let me put it. Let me add this one little thing and then I can pivot. Cat Island, Rumkins, and Salvador has less than 1,700 voters. Marco City has 6,400 voters. So he's about to spend in excess of 150 million, quite possibly $200 million on they have families. But I mean, the point is, in a constituency, listen, that can't be about transformation of the environment to create an economy for people. That's about other things. And we could get to that if you all want to get even more candid. Right? So that's one. So
Whoa. Take it easy, Pintard.
Top of them other things.
So in terms of qualification, right? Again, I have an associate's degree in agriculture, bachelor's in plant and soil science. I've done graduate courses in agricultural economics at McGill. And I did a 2-year anti-money laundering and compliance degree. But if you have to lead with your qualifications, it tells me that your argument otherwise is weak. So I don't dwell on what the qualifications are. I have greater international exposure than the Prime Minister before the public started to pay for his international travel. I just won't be clear. I represented 52 Commonwealth countries, elected first in the Caribbean and North America region, then elected internationally in the Commonwealth Youth Program, and spoke on behalf of Commonwealth young people. And again, the Commonwealth had 1.5 or so billion people, spoke on their behalf at international conferences at the United Nations in Latin America and elsewhere around the world on behalf of young people. So I come to this job with long line of experience in leadership, whether it's at the College of the Bahamas as a spokesperson for the Union of Students, whether at Tuskegee University as a member of the board of director and student government president in the United States, having lived in Canada, engaged in activism from high school, having been arrested protesting against Pinling, having been arrested in Canada protesting against a racist group of officers who have killed an unarmed black man, or being escorted out of the administration center at Tuskegee University, taking over the building for more than one day, sending a message to the university.
You've been on this.
Listen, I'm true to this.
All right, slow down.
Slow
down a minute for me, Pintard. Slow down a minute. Yeah. I see you doing Pintard come to take over the show. The honorable Pintard. And I appreciate all this.
I just responding to your question.
Just.
He lost the words.
So let me ask you a question. It is fair to say that now the time is now, that we are now officially, the gun has been fired, that we are now in campaign 100% campaign mode.
Government has been doing so for the last 4.5 years.
Got you. So, it has been said that the Free National Movement, its present leadership, it has been said that the Bahamian populace do not have the confidence in the new leadership of Michael Pintard. I have this question for you. Do you feel that the free...
Where is this being said? In your barbershop?
It's been said... You heard in the barbershops, you heard in the food stores, you heard everywhere. You heard in conversations. You heard in conversations.
I'll make sure this ain't your view of this.
No.
Being said.
We've talked about this on the show before the ministers here came here. So, do you feel that the Free National Movement, the present Free National Movement, and we call this the new Free National Movement because it's under new leadership of Minister Michael Pintard, do you feel that the Free National Movement has the confidence? The Bahamians have the confidence in the new leadership of the Free National Movement. And is the Free National Movement leadership confident going into the next election, believing wholeheartedly that the Free National Movement is able to capture this next election? And if you are confident, what gives you that confidence?
Okay, so I'd like to come to that question, but I just want to button up the initial question asked about qualification. So I've laid out the initial part of the case. The Prime Minister, in a moment of sinking to a new low, sought to dismiss all of the areas that I've worked in over the years as not real jobs. I just listed. I'm an agriculturalist by training, qualified to do to function as without question. What is also true is I've been a human resource consultant for decades, having conducted training for most of the financial institutions.
I can stop you, leader.
In the country.
I'm gonna stop you, leader. I think let me help with something here because you mentioned something today in that meeting earlier that I don't know if it got the kind of, and you don't do things for publicity, especially at that time the country's in crisis.
Of course.
But let's talk about for a little bit, and it's not to toot your horn, but I thought it was an amazing program that unfortunately, once COVID ended, it kind of went off in smoke almost. That whole backyard farming, that whole concept. I don't know if it was your brainchild, but I know you worked it. I don't know who birthed it, but I know you worked it big time. Talk about that whole thing that you did at the Ministry of Agriculture.
Right.
That was a big deal. But I think it's though I was disappointed it didn't catch the way it could have caught.
Right. So I mean, in this room, all of us right now, we're creatives. Right? New media is a part of the orange economy. If you're an athlete, orange economy. If you're in the performing arts of any area, any type, any genre, you're a part of the creative industry. So I happen to have collaborated with some other writers in about 4 production. I wrote 3 exclusively. The 7 longest running theatrical productions in the history of the country, right? The most well attended in the history of the country. One stretch of the election shows we sold out Rainforest Theater 22 times. 800 persons, every single. We didn't compete.
I was to a few of them.
We didn't compete with plays. We compete with anything that was entertaining for the Bahamian public.
Across the board.
Across the board. Did $500,000 in 6 months, just on one of the plays, just one. So think about this for a moment. Why is this relevant? It isn't relevant because of any genius of mine or my colleagues. It's relevant because we are faced at this time in the country with economic growth rate somewhere around 2%, not sufficient to sustain the country given our revenue and expenditure, and not sufficient to absorb the new generation of young people coming out of school. So we have to figure out, how do you generate employment? How do you put additional pillars under the Bahamian economy? Different legs. One of them is orange economy. One of them is in the area of technology. One is in the area of food security. All of these areas give us the potential to earn billions of dollars in order to absorb the talent that is unfortunately underutilized in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So for a CEO of the country who is supposed to be forward-looking, denigrating a segment of the culture that is massive, pregnant with possibilities, is not only a mistake, it's a dereliction of duty, and in my view, disqualifies him. So for everyone who has worked in the areas I've worked, HR, in agriculture, who've worked as a minister as he was, again, or as a creative, and he dismisses it by saying what career you have, how many people have been employed in your company. I built a company from the ground up. What ground up? You worked with two iconic business partners who became prime minister. As a senior member of the bar, do a survey of Bahamians and ask, which case are you most familiar with of the CEO of the country? Name one legal case that you are most familiar with. I can tell you what most Bahamians will answer. So when you come for me, come fully prepared, and unfortunately he wasn't. But I didn't want to litigate that. But since you asked, I just thought I'd mention. So there has been diverse experience that has made a difference. As Minister of Agriculture, I left in place a couple of policies and projects that are transformative. One was, Cabinet agreed that all foods purchased in the Bahamas, 40% of all foods, before you could get a import permit to bring in any of those foods, you must first buy from a Bahamian producer. And that 70% of all foods purchased by government, that's whether at the hospital or in the Ministry of Health, whether in the corrections facilities, whether in Ministry of Education, must first be bought from a Bahamian. So what we have done through policy is locked in a ready market if you're producing anything. If you're producing microgreens, salad, livestock, etc.
That's how BAMSI came about?
No. BAMSI was
before that. But
before
y'all
that.
make sure it was established by doing that.
What we were saying is we are guaranteeing you a market. Whatever you could produce, because we are importing 98% of every single product you could identify in terms of agriculture, or if you're importing ornamental, flowers, etc. So all I'm saying is that's a transformative policy position that unfortunately this administration has not built on. We entered into an arrangement with Atlantis. We asked them, tell us the top items that you're producing, and would you be prepared to buy them from Bahamians? They sent us the top 25 items. We worked on what would be the price point Bahamians would have to sell to you for you to buy from them. And then they said two other things have to happen. You have to be able to supply us at the frequency, that is the pace that we need it, and at the quantity that we need. They also made available 500 acres for farmers who may have been short on land. Since we were kicked out of office, there has been no progress on that project with Atlantis. That's just but one example. In terms of backyard farming, we thought we in fact entered into a relationship with faith-based organizations. You have land, you have properties. Why plant non-food-bearing trees when you could plant those and give yourself a chance at reducing your cost on buying food, and you get to determine what's in the food.
That's when y'all was giving up the little kits, the startup kits?
Backyard kit, but also technical advice if you wanted to go larger than just backyard farming. We conducted, more important than what I just mentioned, is we conducted a study along with the Food and Agriculture Organization, with CARDI, CARICOM's arm of agriculture, with IECA, the Organization of American States arm in agriculture, and we left in place, that's still in the ministry, a study that shows that there are 77 items in agriculture that we could compete internationally producing, thereby reducing the $1 billion, with a B, food bill that we have. And we could do so by at least half a billion.
Let me ask you a question.
Before you do that, while you're on it, somebody put online, and they getting feelings online. Let me ask this question.
Sure, man.
Some of your line says, you have all of this agricultural experience, yet BAMSI died under your regime.
No, it doesn't make sense. But BAMSI did not die. BAMSI continued. In fact, the concept of BAMSI as a research institute and an educational facility to teach agriculture, marine, and life sciences is the right concept. I won't litigate how much money the government spent on BAMSI to get it to where it is now, right? But quite frankly, it could be the subject of a commission of inquiry, not suggesting that there'll be one.
Right.
Too many other subjects to do that on.
Right.
But
the concept.
The reality is the concept is a good concept.
Right.
Now, here is where I differ from those who are infatuated with BAMSI. The government should not be in the agriculture business of taking small amounts of acreage, 800 acres, and putting it under cultivation in order to compete with farmers with salad crops or any other crops. We should use BAMSI as a research institute. One of the things, the pathway I was on, is to invite institutes from around the world to set up shop on a couple hundred of those acres so that we become the nucleus, the sort of the Silicon Valley of agriculture and life sciences research in the Bahamas. More money will be generated from the intelligence you garner through a research facility. Without question, we bring in North Carolina State. We bring in University of Miami. We bring in universities from around the world to set up shop to do research here. What is the benefit of that? The benefit isn't just global institutions setting up and doing research. It is also earning not just the revenue of them being here, but when you do research here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and you enter into commercial relationships with Dole because you discovered something here in the Bahamas, we are beneficiaries of the residual income that comes from those things. That's why we did the legislation, access benefit sharing, meaning if you come to the Bahamas, you study coral in our waters, you do the research, you sell the outcome of the research to the company, they produce cologne or perfume or something else. We don't just want the initial money we gain from you doing that. We also want the benefit of whatever patents or you set up. We want royalties over time.
Did you start on this? Did you start on this?
Of course we did. We traveled, talked to universities from around the world in order to, again, begin to invite them, come and set up shop here.
So there's a framework for this in place. There's a framework already in place.
They have everything we have done, for good or bad, is in the files in the Ministry of Agriculture. And I left in my office, everything I work on, I create a folder, put it on the spine, put it on the front, it's on the minister's shelf. So anything I did was in the minister's office. So when they come in and get tribalistic, because I didn't do that when I was in the chair. I didn't go, again, to cast a shadow over Alfred Gray's head. Instead, I call him. I say, I need you on speed dial. So that when we are making some decisions and I'm unclear on the history of a thing, I want to be able to call on you. Okay, now, if there's an audit and an audit run up on you, that's you and the auditor's business. That ain't my business. But I don't intend to put a cloud over your head by coming in and looking for I gotcha moments in politics. That's how I function.
We're struggling right now because the country working in 5-year cycles and it ain't going nowhere.
Sure.
It's just getting on the merry-go-round.
Continuity.
It ain't making no sense, right? So let me ask this question. Based on what let's just zone in on what you just said just now.
You can answer my question at any point in the show.
Yeah. You answer the question yet?
No, he answered that.
All right, okay, come on to you a second. But this, it kind of bothers me when I hear passion, and I hear passion, but I ain't throwing no shade. But you're a master of the stage, so I want to make sure we get this passion for real. This is no stage play. Did you reach out to your what would it be in Clay at the time? Didn't Clay go in right after you? Of course. Did you reach out to Clay about this, the Honorable Clay Sweeten?
Of course.
And say to him, listen, man.
I'm available, my brother. Anything you need to.
Did you talk about those conducts of those universities, those trips that was made? Y'all talked about that? Because this bothering me, man.
No, listen.
Because I keep on hearing these kind of ideas, right? And they just die, and the country is suffering for lack of big ideas.
On the bookshelf in his office. Marine resources, all matters I worked on the shelf, on the spine with an index sheet. Agriculture, cooperatives, everything I worked on is in his office. I went further. I once said to Clay Sweeting and to the Prime Minister that the
not in the house.
In the house. No, I mean, I want listen.
No, I don't. But not in the house. Any meeting?
No, I'm saying outside the house.
Okay, all right, not in the house. Okay, right. Okay, all right.
Yeah. And when I was,
because what in the house, they don't listen to what else in the house.
When I was in as Minister of Agriculture, any major initiative we were launching, they were invited. The shadow of agriculture in both the Senate and in the House of Assembly were invited so we could brief them. So that in the event that we lost, there'd be no disruption in staffing or a program that made sense.
Got you.
I said to the Prime Minister and Clay seconded the budget on one occasion in the House of Assembly. And I just thought it was remarkable. So I said to them, I got up after we won a break, I said, you have a real opportunity to do some amazing things in agriculture. The fact that the Prime Minister who's right there, and you are seconding the budget, a Minister of Agriculture, please. I had to fight to get my papers passed.
Right.
When we win. So there was I'm sure you didn't see me appearing in documentations that we released as an organization, touting agriculture or giving any promotion to the efforts I was making.
Right.
But everything cool. But I'm saying they had a chance.
Right.
So the fact that they have squandered an opportunity because the Prime Minister enjoyed a good relationship with the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources is most unfortunate. So it tells me that the issues that the PLP have is not necessarily with relationships, certainly not in agriculture. It had to do with execution. You met a study in place that told you we could be self-sufficient in 2.5 years in eggs, poultry, which includes chicken and turkey, and you have not produced any eggs? if somebody else would say there are more eggs in this room than they produced in 4.5 years. I mean, I'm just saying. So
golden yolk. What them golden
of
yolk?
course, they
Golden. Hold on,
They have a
golden
study.
yolk ain't working.
No, of course, $23 million later, and they are talking about in maybe another 2 years it'll work. It'll only take you 4 to 5 months to produce eggs and chicken. I mean, you know.
And it
So
continues to produce.
I have a question, right?
Yeah.
So based on something that you had mentioned about the same thing that kind of echo what Denczil asked, what do you think is a challenge? Do you think it's an ego thing? Do you think it's a lack of interest for these plans to continue in succession? In all facets, not just agriculture, but any other ministry, when the sitting minister puts something in plan that's beneficial for that particular ministry, and they lose the election, somebody else is coming in and they look at that, and no matter how good it may be, they kick it to the side. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because of egos, or what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. One is politicians, A-type personalities, often ego-driven rather than service-driven. People want legacy projects. So a lot of times people are trying to put in place a legacy project where their name is infamous over or popular over time. I think that's part of it. The second thing is many times we're not into consulting with people who immediately preceded us in a position because we are locked in our neutral corners and we're ready to do war. And so instead of embracing what has the potential to be good for the country, we get on with our agenda because in fact, sometimes we just change the name of a thing because we want it associated with us. And I think it's a mistake. So that's why I don't support tribalism. That's why when I ran, to a part of the question that you asked, when I ran for leader of the Free National Movement, by the way, I didn't have any childhood dream to lead the country or the FNM. I didn't have an epiphany from God. I just knew that I gave loyal service for 9.5 years to the former prime minister. And I told him when the time came that I no longer had confidence in his leadership, I would look him in his eyes and told him. It just so happened that it coincided with us getting a royal cadet. 7 of us were left standing. And I felt as if I was the most qualified to take the party forward. And I was prepared to run, win, lose, or draw. My daughter was going to know that Daddy stood up because he felt we needed to go in a different direction. Right. And so again, I believe we have to be careful that we don't get so attached to legacy building that we forget what is important, and that is serving the Bahamian people. And so for me, there were 2 conventions since I've been leader of the Free National Movement, to the question that my good brother Kenyatta asked. Prior to me becoming the leader, the FNM did not have a convention at one point for a 6-year stretch. 6 years. It's required every 2 years to hold convention by our constitution.
That's fair.
Okay? and so there was no need. I was managing his campaign. I told him we can beat the other people 2 to 3 to 1. And we did. Right? So essentially, in 4 years, there have been 2 conventions, and my leadership in the Free National Movement have been reaffirmed by nearly a 3 to 1 margin. So whether there's confidence in the FNM, of course there's confidence in the FNM that at this time I'm the most appropriate person to lead. Is there confidence in the public? Well, the jury is still out. We can find out in short order. Do I believe we will win? Of course. Listen, there were a couple of things we needed to do as a party that some we have done and some we're working on. One, people want to know who your candidates are going to be. And yeah, so there's mixed reviews by some persons. We believe we've assembled a talented group of Bahamians who look just like y'all, whose demographics are just like y'all. I have confidence in y'all. I have confidence in the candidates that we have. And so a lot of that chatter around candidates have died down. People are settling in to embrace a number of these, I would say the vast majority of our candidates. The second thing...
Except one.
Okay,
that's Rick Fox. But go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So the second... The second thing is...
Swiping.
People want to know what our vision is and our plans. And so again, we believe there has to be deeper penetration of the message. We have to say the same thing about what we intend to do over and over and over again, what legislation we'll introduce and why, what policies we'll put in place and why, what programs or projects we would put in place. And so that's the mission we're on. I'm here with you all to talk concretely in a granular way about what it is we will do in the energy space, in the education, in the crime, dealing with law and order in the country. So those things.
Could you touch on that, the energy space?
Yeah, we will. I just want to get to the point that you raised. So I'm saying that we intend. We intend to lay out that plan, and we believe the more we do this, the more people like you in the studio, get to meet me and don't speculate from a distance, we can leave out here with an increase in support out of this studio because for the first time, you would probably see me. For the first time, you will feel me. And so I have no doubt when you talk to other people as a good Christian man that you all would be truthful. You all could be truthful and say, boy, look here. I had a perception of this.
We ain't just say he's a good talker. We ain't just say he's a good pontificator.
Anyway, we slice the fella.
Brother leader, it seems though you didn't get one vote. Because this fella came here to get you. He came here to get you today.
Our prospects are increasing. The longer the PLP go, the greater their chance of losing more and more seats. That's why the Prime Minister is trying to go early. But each time he look at a date, some new controversy come up.
Listen to me. I just come with the barbershop.
Yeah.
And I just talk Elliot. I say, if you all win 5 seats, you all win plenty. But today, I carry up to 10.
Look at God. Look at God.
You go on to 10. 'Cause I leave up there, and the 5 was in the last song.
You might get 5 more by next week, Tito.
Was in the last song. If you come to that barbershop, and just, you might go by
How did y'all go?
And this only the first 30 minutes.
How did y'all go? How did y'all go through the
This man was
process?
talk, your money right on John Pocket.
So that's the wrong body. Wrong body.
How do y'all go through the process of like your candidates?
Well, again, people apply. We then review the application. We interview them. We do investigations on their background. The investigation committee makes a recommendation to the candidates committee, which is the executive of the party. The executives of the party evaluate them based on the interview, based on the nature of the application, based on the investigation, and based on what the association.
What's the timeline for
the association? There's no set timeline.
No set timeline.
Based on what the association says. All of those things we weigh in the balance. So while the association opinion is important, it isn't the only thing that determines. And then it goes to council for the final.
Okay,
vote.
we believe you all cheat for Rick Fox.
And how?
We believe you all cheat the process for Rick Fox.
We ain't got to believe that. He jumped the line.
So how does the constituency select who they want? How do you get?
You build into that question, that's where we're going.
Why you just don't get to the question?
You build relationships.
Get to the question. You
I
taking long.
normally say I normally say to aspirants, right? People who are interested. If you are interested in being successful, here's what increases, not guarantee, increases your chance. One, you build name, face recognition, either nationally or in the constituency. You build a relationship with the association and its executives. You build a relationship with the national party. All of those things in totality increase your chance for when your name comes up at a national level that you would be embraced. Sometimes you could have all of those and still run into problems. Let me give you one example which can help you all out with all the questions you have with Rick and everybody else.
We ain't get much questions, but not much people.
I think this could be this could be instructive. This could be instructive. In 2012, the Association of East Grand Bahama, a seat we have never lost, decided to embrace me as their candidate, right? And they voted. I got the majority of the votes. Michael Pine got second. And some other persons, just in case they catch feelings, I ain't gonna name them right now. It's about 4 others, all got 0.
Wow.
The machinery of the party had a different view. The leader of the party and the machinery had a different view. So they asked them to go back and vote again. So time passed and they voted again. Exact same result. Majority, Mark second, all others, 0 votes. One of those persons became the member of parliament and became a very good member of parliament. Where did I end up? Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador running against the now sitting prime minister. Election, I thought we won, by the way.
You think so?
In the fullness of time, we'll find out. But the bottom line is...
We thought you got sabotaged in that one.
Yeah,
we thought you got chased in that one.
But consider this. Did you hear me grumble? Kenyatta, I went like a soldier, a loyal soldier to the Free National Movement. I did my time in Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador. The people I love, my mother's from New Bight, Cat Island. I spent my summer there. So I did my job for the party. I returned. I was living in Grand Bahama, by the way. Left all my contracts, my good wife, and gone to Cat Island and did my duty for the party. We are now in a dispensation in politics where there's a spirit of entitlement. So people, when they don't get the seat they want, or they don't get a re-ratification because they not only mad, they are willing to sink the ship if they are not on it in the position they desire. And so let me. So my point to you is this. I was able, and this is what separates me, I believe, even from the Prime Minister. I thought the decisions made by the then leader of the FNM was not in my best interest. Not just one time I thought that a couple of times. But I never doubted that he was the best option to lead the party and in turn lead the country. So Bishop, I never confused my personal prospects with what I thought was good for the organization and good for the country. So he wasn't good for my political career, but he was certainly good, I thought, for the party and the country, and I still believe that today.
But didn't you mention that you managed his campaign?
No, that wasn't Minutes. Ingram was in charge at that
that's
time.
Ingram. Okay.
So all I'm saying is I was able to separate my personal situation for what I thought was best for the country, and I don't have any regrets about doing that. I would support him again. And so my point is, how do we cultivate a new cadre of leaders whose commitment to the country is bigger than their personal ambition?
But didn't you? Sorry.
And that's the kind of stuff that we need.
I gotta jump in here.
The only seat they wanted to run in was the one that they applied for. And if you couldn't give them that, the hell with you. And all I'm saying is, I would have wanted them to have a different spirit.
The barbershop said, I jump over you. I know that you can go too deep here. Hold on, before you go deep. The barbershop believes that your ego got rid of Menace.
You mentioned, man. It's going down.
Right.
Rephrase it.
Go ahead and you ask it.
So you said that you were his campaign, right? You spared his campaign.
Of course.
Yeah, right?
He spared Ingram campaign.
No, Menace.
Ingram dispatched me to
Right.
Right. Menace, I ran Menace.
Because he said Tito wasn't no convention because he thought he's going to win 3-1, hands down. So he advised him not to.
Your story
I
mix up.
did not.
Your
In
story
fact, I
mix up.
advised him to call a convention so we could demonstrate that through a democratic process.
So that you're asking that part. So that's the one part I get wrong, but it's Menace.
Get your questions together, man.
Go ahead.
So if you was there side by side with him, right, and you're talking about cultivating leadership and everybody else in it, why is it now that the tables did not take turn, but now you're in leadership, and it doesn't seem like you have his support to take the party to the next level?
You're gonna have to ask him why he does not support me in the way I.
You may not say that because you don't like Menace. That's why you answered that.
And I consistently.
You answered dirty because he don't like Menace.
He don't like Menace.
He don't like Menace. And he answered in a way.
The man don't like Menace.
So you want to turn that so you can match
so
up
Bishop,
Menace.
let me answer that quick. Again, let me.
So we got two people here who don't like Menace.
You'd have to ask him why he's unprepared to do that. So to come to your question.
Go ahead.
Come to your question.
Go ahead.
Consider this.
Because they're saying it's ego. Everybody's saying it's ego. It's ego because you said we got to put our egos aside and think about the movement of the body. And we've heard by Joe Public, some of Joe Public, not all, but some of Joe Public saying that Pintard was all about ego, and that's why
you should have run Menace.
That's why he throw away Menace.
Which segment of Joe Public? Because remember now,
the one next to you.
Joe Public, 30,000.
Joe right next to you.
I want you to hear it now. Joe
And I was
Public,
just being the devil's advocate.
Joe Public,
Lies. He meant it.
Joe Public, 30,000 strong, stayed home and didn't vote. Okay,
You are correct.
But that aside,
Right.
when I was chairman of the party and Dr. Menace was the leader of the party, we sat in a room similar to this with several constituency associations and their sitting member of parliament that was in safe seats. And he and I explained that the party wished to go in a different direction. And for that reason, we wished to benefit from their continued help, but they were not going to receive ratification to continue in that particular position. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't. They were suitably qualified, but it was going to be bringing in a new generation of leaders. He and I sat in the room on more than one occasion. I'll give you the short version of that story. 7 sitting members of parliament, most of whom were in safe seats that we never lost, he did not re-nominate in another election. How could that be acceptable? A strategic move by a leader. 7 back then. But when it happens
Safe seats.
with him, safe seats. But when it happens with him, one person, it is a bad decision.
I think
How is it? Seven
powerful.
sitting members of parliament, the party did not give renomination to under Dr. Minnis. It was viewed as a strategic move to make provisions for the next generation. And
How
that
the
was
tables turned.
strategic. And now in that case where we've asked him to be the elder statesman, to offer guidance and mentorship, to have a say in who will succeed him, to serve in a significant capacity afterwards, how could that be an ego-driven decision when it is the renewal of leadership, as has happened in the church,
Yeah.
in politics, in business? So there's no ego there. I've been respectful the entire period of time. There's much I could say and do that can air any number of matters that I haven't, out of respect for him. And also, we need to stay focused on what the Bahamian people need, not litigating F&M issues, because that's not the issue. That's not going to help people pay an expensive light bill. That's not going to help people
Right.
put food on the table. That's not going to help a brother from stop running up on people with a 9 or a knife. And so we have real work to do.
Persons are saying, a lot of comments come online say, is this about brave? Y'all keep on listening. Keep on listening. We come in. This is Barbershop Talk. This is the best show in the world. Don't panic. Don't panic. We got this. All right. All you online. We come in.
and the good minister ain't running out. He don't run out of words.
So I want to ask you this.
How do I run
question.
away from subjects?
no question either.
None. Eh? Hey, we don't duck and we don't pat and bow there either.
Here's a question. Here's a question.
Come on,
Here's a question. I have a question.
That was
here.
good. I love it.
You've heard this statement here. I've heard it several times. Not once, twice, not 10, not 20 times. Y'all know Pintard in charge of the FM though. I've heard that. Now y'all know.
I never hear that.
Yeah,
Boy,
I heard
I hate pump fakers. But y'all know Pintard in charge of the FM. Pintard in the charge.
That's why I agree with him, because I ain't on their level. But I believe
I want
in
them addressed. I want them addressed.
I believe in sometimes some of these fellas don't want to go home. Since you don't want to go home, I can send you home. Because ain't no other way to do it. You ain't want to bend the knee. We have a saying around football. If you don't want to bend the knee, we can make you bend the knee.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So sometimes you got to send them home. I'm glad you sent them home.
So they, it's been
The
said.
executive and the council of the Free National Movement. Yes, sir.
As far as you can say it, he said them all. They say you're in the charge.
Let me know you sign come sit on the block with you.
I want them to dress it. They say you're in the charge.
No, I mean
That move alone shows that he's in charge.
No,
Why are you answering for them? I want you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The executive and the council of the Free National Movement are in charge. The executive and the council, and I believe in the democratic process. So they are so much in charge that I recommended to them 40 candidates that they should consider for ratification, and they
They agree with you?
they agreed with all that was presented to them. And these
All
ratified.
40. All 40.
All
Yeah,
40?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm not sure who they say are in charge.
there's
It keeps changing. It's a moving goalpost. We can't figure out one day who's in charge.
Absolutely. That's
You-
what,
you
that's
know?
why I want to ask you. That's why I want to bring it to you. That there's some smokers room in the back there somewhere.
Yeah.
Some smokers room that calling the shots.
Yes.
And truth be told, that you ain't in the room. They come out of the room and tell you what to do.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's the narrative. I've heard the narrative.
Listen,
I saw you for the narrative.
Politics is unfortunately A-type personality, ego-driven, and people are always looking for you to flex to prove that you run things.
Right.
I believe a part of the problem we have in the Parliament of the Bahamas is just too much testosterone in the room. I think we need to necessarily do what we're doing now, increase the complement of women who are in the room, who are thinking more about bread and butter issues sometimes than some of the brothers. And so this is not about me proving how strong I am, because I could find lots of creative ways to ask a brother, you say you strong, bro? Tell me how come you can't get this, and this right. But I don't want to relitigate those kinds of issues, right?
Right.
All I'm just saying is there are some things that demonstrate weakness.
Right.
Again, inability to discipline yourself, inability to pursue and achieve a steady job where you earn less money than you think you deserve,
Right.
but you do so because you believe you have a family to take care of, and you rather do that than guard a shipment, thief a shipment, or run gun or do something illegal that puts you at risk or take your life. I mean, listen, I'm in charge of the Free National Movement because of the grace and confidence of the people in the Free National Movement, and I honor that. by running many decisions that people think I should make on my own
Right.
by them so we could bond the baby together. And so that's the approach that I have taken. So if others are hooked on autocratic leadership that they've seen or benefited from or been bullied by, that's on them. I thought I'd do it a different way because I believe that more voices around the table can help us arrive at a better solution than we have been accustomed to. We're in a new dispensation. People don't just want to know that you could take them from here to there. They want to participate in the process too.
Right.
And that's the kind of spirit I wish to cultivate, not just in the party, but in the country. I believe there's smarter people outside of the 39 in Parliament, and we should give them an opportunity to weigh in on what's going
Not
on
off
in the
limits?
country. Huh?
Not off limits?
No, nothing is off limits.
So let-
Everything we should
Let's speak about
discuss.
the
Feel free.
article in the paper where it's been said that one of your candidates is affiliated with a known drug dealer. He refuted those comments
Yes.
and he said he had no idea.
Yes.
And if being his past career, had he had known, he would have never gotten involved, right?
Yeah.
I don't know him to say if he's telling the truth or telling a lie. But what is your stance on the optics of it all? Him being ratified and a candidate to run in the next general election.
On a matter that just emerged over the last couple of days, you mean?
Yeah.
So we're going to do the assessment of it, and we'll make a decision, as I've made in every single case, for every thorny issue that's been raised by the public. You pick the candidate where the issue has been thorny, and I presided over the decision being made. Pick one, any island.
Are we
So
taking any
I'm
calls?
just saying we'll do the same. We'll do the same in this case. I do trust his integrity implicitly. But it would also be fair for you to ask about some other people who are in the race from other organizations where very serious questions have been asked, and ask whether or not a fulsome explanation has been given by
Carlo,
anyone.
all I say to
And
you
so-
be careful.
And so all I
Be careful.
So all I'm saying.
hear me. I don't have no
I look it out for you.
I don't have no Washington.
I look it out for you.
I don't
No.
have no
One more
Washington.
time, I look it out for you.
So let me
You answer the Rick Fox question here, though. Why Rick Fox? What qualified Rick Fox? You answer that.
I didn't know- what was the question?
Plenty people online saying this.
Ask the question
Ask
in
about
particular.
Rick Fox. How Rick Fox getting there? Why you all chose Rick Fox? Because the talk is you gyp somebody. I know you talk about what happened with you in your instance in 2012, whatever the case was. What qualifies Rick? Rick jump ahead as a lot of people, according to what the news is out there. We don't know F&M politics. But of course, we
I'd
know
be happy to
we
answer.
draw our strong conclusions and we have no clue what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially in the barbershop. We know exactly what's going on and
Yeah.
we don't know nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
So in our mind,
Pass you trust on the bus now. I have a little evidence too, you know.
y'all don't have no
I like
evidence,
the mob,
man.
you know. You stay right there.
Y'all don't have no evidence, man. Y'all just working on Hesse.
Oh,
Look, that
I see pictures. He been in the Prime Minister's office must see a month before.
who, Rick Fox?
Yeah.
And then he ended up with them.
So he playing one
But ask the
day
question.
with
Ask the question.
No, go ahead.
No, you
can't trust on the body. We ain't got no evidence.
You have evidence.
You don't have a mic, sir. If you're gonna talk, you got to use the mic. I am even soft, you know. I don't
The
want
people in the back
one.
want to know how and why Rick Fox.
I mean,
For the people in the back.
a couple. Well, first of all, the point you made that there are people who leapfrog the line. You know, they leapfrog some other people. We had over 100 applications for persons to run. So you will always have talented people left on the board, right? And so that's unfortunate, but there are other ways people could serve other than just being elected or even appointed in the Senate. There are many other positions. So Rick is more recent than some folks, and there are some other people who have been ratified who are also more recent. In fact, some of our ratified candidates have served in the PLP before. And again, this speaks to the maturity of the process.
BDM.
You name the party. We've had folks that have served or been sympathetic to at one point.
And
or
that
another.
should be fine.
So that, of course, our longest serving leader in the Free National Movement is Hubert Alexander Ingram, and he was a cabinet minister and a chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party. So
Yep.
so we didn't pass that part of the argument in terms of leapfrog. Why Rick Fox? Any one of us in this room who have listened to Rick Fox talk on any particular national issue recognize that he's a thoughtful individual who understands the issues and have a perspective on how to advance the country.
But he was a good basketball player too. He could be coached really well.
That is well.
No, I gotta disagree with you. I gotta disagree with you. Mr. Leader.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of what. Respectfully, I
Yeah,
don't
no
know him
problem, no
personally.
problem, my brother.
I don't know him personally, and I'm not trying this to disparage Rick Fox in any way, shape, or form.
By the way,
But-
would you like him as a guest? Because I can make that arrangement. just so y'all-
Absolutely, want him
so
as a guest. Y'all scared?
We'll make that happen.
Yeah, tell him bring his beam and boss when he come do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, we want him as a guest.
We got him and Minister Bolay on the same time.
Let me know.
You want him and Mario same time?
I know he ain't gonna run.
That's a powerful statement.
I look into debate the prime minister any given day, but it seems as if they're
That's a
reluctant to do so.
powerful statement.
I would love to debate the prime minister.
I didn't feel. I felt a lot of words, but not much depth coming out of Rick Fox. Let's be honest.
No, I
all,
mean-
all the statements I read online and stuff like that, it felt so ChatGPT. It did.
No,
It didn't
That's
have
why
no
it's
depth
so-
to it. So
so
I
Bishop-
hear this talk about he was so profound and so eloquent. I was like, but this is
But Bishop,
it was fluffy.
is it true that you are also a marriage counselor and officer?
Absolutely.
Okay. So most of the relationships that you have presided over, couples that you have counseled,
Sure.
some you have performed the wedding for,
Right.
one or the other of those partners did not feel their spouse in the first, second, third, or fourth encounter. In fact, the persons we are married to, chances are didn't feel us for the first month or two. The jury was out.
I still hope my wife feeling me now. I try.
But
I hope she's there now.
But the Holy Spirit is able.
Go ahead.
And so what I'm saying,
for it.
I'm saying is your initial impression would not be sufficient for you to make a final
Definitely.
because you're thoughtful.
Definitely.
And so you're gonna have a chance to meet him. I heard him. I put the tough questions to him. I know what's out there in the grapevine, and I put those questions to him in advance of us making a determination that we would embrace him.
And you were satisfied.
No,
Obviously, you were
I was
satisfied.
satisfied that he had sufficient qualities, commitment to the Bahamian people, not necessarily to a party. It don't freak me out that somebody ain't feeling there for them. I mean, at some point,
Sure.
right? Because the truth is, the culture in the country now, people are.
But he wasn't feeling Bahamian
they
people,
were,
though.
they were largely anti-establishment.
Say it
People,
again, say it again, say it
people
again.
are so. And I
Oh, you heard him, you heard him.
Because see, this is an example of stuff that's thrown into the atmosphere, and we keep repeating because we don't know the facts. But I can provide some of the facts, right? So all I'm saying is, he is a thoughtful person who has a passion for our people, which is why he worked with the present Minister of Foreign Affairs for multiple years, going into Fox Hill, attending events, being the face and voice on behalf of the Bahamas
In Fox Hill?
on multiple occasions internationally, marketing the Bahamas in a wide range of ways, and so it's in fact right now while we're on the show, is somebody get the producer to just Google the historical contribution. So when I hear folks talk about again, including an article that talks about his willingness to compete on behalf of the Bahamas. Because when that story is told, it's told in a one-dimensional way. Just Google it, right? But let's park all of that for
We
a
know
moment.
we didn't have a national team at that time, did we?
But let's park all of that just for one moment. We are interested in our children coming back home after university. The nature in which his matter is being litigated in the public sends a strong message to our young people that on occasion, to realize your dreams and aspirations, you're going to go overseas and you're going to do well. And the moment you come home and you decide, I don't just shoot a basketball or run around the track, I have an opinion on a matter, the establishment says, who the hell is you?
I don't think that's what it is.
I don't think that's what it is.
Let me finish.
No.
Let me finish.
Tito,
I don't think that
No.
Give me that red
Bishop,
shirt from
Bishop.
Tito, please. Get a red shirt from Tito.
Bishop,
Tito
it
is
isn't
gone.
only
Give
that.
me a red shirt from the back of
boss,
Tito.
he right.
Tito, you're
He
the
right.
jump ship.
He right.
Finish
It's not-
Tito.
what I'm saying, that
He
isn't
right.
that isn't
Why
the
you
only.
lying?
That's not
If you
the only
feel like you
reason.
compared apples not to cassava.
No, I'm saying that
If you like
isn't
apple
the-
and cassava.
What
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying, Bishop, that isn't the only reaction.
Go ahead.
I'm saying also when
That was
person,
the emphasized reaction.
Yeah, that's
a
the
point
That's
though.
the first, but you all didn't allow me to give
Okay,
you the
go ahead,
second
go ahead.
part. And so there are also there are times when people have spent a tremendous amount of time overseas. Let's be real, and people come home. Folks will know, man. I've been dealing with BPL all these years. My water been getting off and it was rusty. Where you just come from? I feel more qualified to deal with the issue.
But you're gonna need to tell me some things.
You take my
Rick Fox did. You can either tell me.
Gotta do nothing.
I mean, you got to. So here's the thing. Here's like this is what I said. This is what I said, right?
You can either tell me
So
that.
I made a comment on the show a couple
Because
weeks ago.
I stand to be corrected if I need to be.
Contributes and gives back to my rock, right?
Yes.
The female basketball player from
Jonquil Jones.
she does the same thing, right? You have Chris Fireman Sons from track.
Call me remember who in
Listen.
NBA too. I mean, not NBA now in Europe. Call Kai Jones, please.
Kai Jones as well,
He's
right?
radio station again.
I made a comment that Jeff Rogers had more basketball camps and did more basketball in Nassau than Rick Fox.
Yeah.
The perception of Rick Fox is, what you say may be true, you know. The fact on the latter part he has been advocating for premium tourism and speaking on Obama's behalf. But what has he done? What was he doing in the beginning? Right? Earlier, during his career. I have seen nothing. I'm not saying that there is nothing, but there's nothing in the limelight that says or speaks to anything that he has done in comparison to some of the other behemoth athletes that has the same stage.
Yes. Yeah, you know what is interesting? I remember Pauline Davis, right? Speaking on some issues. The reaction wasn't that dissimilar, you know. People, this is like, you know the way it used to be back in the day with when racism was even more.
You ain't just
common.
call Paul. I hold on now. You ain't just
Listen,
call
you know what I'm
Pauline
saying?
Davis' name next to Rick Fox's name.
No.
Because when we see Pauline, we think gold, aquamarine, and black.
I'm going somewhere.
Go ahead. Okay, all right.
I'm saying, you know, back in the day, black fellas playing basketball, Oscar Robinson, or running a track or doing something, and people be like, man, look here, shut up and shoot the ball. Shut up and run. Shut up and jump. So here's a Bahamian who is saying, he's a Bahamian. So here he's saying, I wish to make a contribution in a different arena. Judge me on the content of my character. Judge me on the merit of my ideas. And then treat me like everybody else. But this running on about what did you contribute? You know what I mean? Members of parliament who have no history of community service prior to being elected.
We get a problem with all them. No, we have a problem with all of them. We have a problem with every one of them.
But the reason you don't hear about them because most people didn't even know who they were. The group of persons who are serving now, 7 out of 10 of them, you had no knowledge of what their history was until but you said it.
But Pintard, see
fair.
the past. I don't usually be. You see the person call me Denczil. I try to be Denczil in here, right?
Yes.
But the past in me struggles with you walking into a building and being lifted to the 15th floor when everybody else had to walk the stairs.
Grace.
I
Grace.
believe in
It
grace,
is a
but
personification
but
of grace.
Yeah, but it's also still a process even in grace. So we continue and sin the grace may abound.
Yeah.
God forbid.
Grace.
So there's still a process though, and I feel there is.
How old are you, Pastor?
48.
You are 48.
Yes,
You
sir.
you are the youngest person to have ever led Highway Church of God.
Absolutely.
And you
Absolutely.
are one of the youngest, well-respected voices
Yes, sir.
in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
And I served as 14 years as secretary to my former bishop.
Correct. And so
As a little boy.
But I'm just saying to you.
But the process.
No, but I'm saying the process is distinguishing yourself as being excellent in a thing that allows you to take that spirit
Keep
of
on writing.
excellence
Keep on going. I
and
like where you're going. I like where you're going.
translate it into a different arena.
Now let's go. Keep on going.
And so all I'm saying is you have manifested this exact
Sure.
same thing, which is
I know it's the exact same thing.
no? Okay, something similar. Let's go similar. And so all I'm saying is I think we are majoring on a minor thing.
And even listen, I again, I really look forward to getting him in this chair. And we're
So
open.
let's transition until he comes then.
We
on to
are
some
open
other
in
national
this
issues.
to have anybody here, and we drill them the same way. Everybody
Yeah,
came
yeah.
in this chair. We don't pump figure it out.
Yeah,
We
no.
go all the way.
I have a question for you though.
So yeah, I'll make sure.
What happened with Blue?
Hold on, no. You don't jump in. Don't jump in. Don't take your time.
I agree.
I have a question for you. I have a question for you. Minister Pintard. Minister
Blue
Pintard.
Johnson.
Is that a reggae song?
No.
Forward ever, backward never. Let's go forward back. Let's go forward ever.
Let's talk about
Forward ever, man.
let's talk about some relief efforts.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's talk about some relief efforts.
Hold on, wait, you change from that? Because it's so funny, right? I got some journalists, I guess, who can't do this on their platform. I didn't know our platform, we don't care. So I get questions coming in from journalists texting me. I won't say who they are. One says, and why did the F? I know you say we can say Fox when we get more,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
But I want to know I heard them, and Dalton, at some point you exactly these folks online because they catch the feelings. They getting mad. We get some online.
We apologize. We
They
apologize.
getting mad
You're
online. They
allowed
like-
a minister to come and take over the show.
somebody.
Nobody talks more than the host.
I can't call the name, but this one says, and why did the F&M chairman, because I never heard of this, deny Fox being on the ticket? That's what somebody be. I never another one. Okay, I can leave that one. I don't give that one.
He say nothing off limits.
No, but this person said, why did the chairman deny Fox being on the ticket? That's it. Yeah. I never heard that. There's some, but this I guess some inside
Speaking
information.
specifically about St. James.
Oh,
You're talking about
that's
St.
what it
James,
is.
That he was not running in St. James.
Ah.
Heavyweights could come middle of the park and they should be able to rise. That's how we feel. They don't come and necessarily go. You know.
And then somebody mentioned about the fact that he.
Love this. We love the fact that he has drawn this kind of attention and babies are talking about it. But
No,
let's go to some bread and butter.
we said that in the show. We said on the show, we said, you know what? Whether you like it, don't care, but it's put this the F&M in the conversation. It has increased. It's a lot of heat.
And look at God. Not just one Fox, but two Fox. You understand what I'm saying? You have
Swiping, no swiping.
You have a second Fox. A fella just. That's something. Fox where?
Are you trying to get him on the show?
Like
I'm trying to get him on the show.
Fella, don't they? No. I think that he's going to retire the sitting member of parliament. And I've never seen him, the sitting member of parliament, so out of sorts.
But Minister, hold on. Minister Pintard.
Now you got the business.
Minister Pintard.
Look at Fox.
That's remarkable.
Minister Pintard.
So the character though, Sean.
Minister Pintard.
You know Fox Hill boys. You can't talk about
I was a Fox Hill boy.
Look at him.
The greatest MP Fox Hill has ever had was the Right Honorable, and he's dead and gone. Bless his soul, George Mackey.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't think Fox Hill has never had no representation like George Mackey. The Honorable Fred Mitchell, I believe, is doing an awesome job, but I think the standard is George Mackey. I understand that the candidate who's seeking the election, seeking to win in the Fox Hill constituency under the Free National Movement, he's also a Fox Hillian. As a matter of fact, I went to see him for the first time a week ago.
What Fox Hill?
Excellent doctor, very good doctor.
You went to see him, or you went?
I went to see the doctor.
You better see Dr. Fox. and
Yeah,
Dr.
that's what I doctor. Anyhow,
Oh, that's why I was
so
thinking,
listen, man. So.
You halfway there?
He is he
I
told
get
me
sound
that
effects
he
now.
actually grew up maybe 400 or 500 feet away from me.
Well, how you just know that and you've been a Fox in your whole life?
Because
He's much older than me. I would not know him.
I can't see him coming around.
My bad. Even though I lived in Foxhill, there was my commute was very small. But anyhow, these are the issues I wanted. Let's move on.
You used to live in Fox Hill for 12 and a half years, right?
Yeah, I hear you
Johnson,
play box,
Step
too.
Street?
Yeah.
Boy, tell me my
Yeah,
barbershop
man.
has been there down
Yes,
Step Street?
Yes, sir.
I used to play basketball, used to have
Yeah,
blocks
man.
back in the day.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. You used to get spying on the guard,
See,
doodle.
he had a little crew, he used to come in a little crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
But Minister,
Danny had some game too.
They ain't focused, Minister. I trying to give you an opportunity, but I want to give you an opportunity.
Please go ahead, my brother.
Let's move on from what we were talking
We
about just now.
appreciate your support in the upcoming election. Nobody continue.
Let's talk about. I believe.
You can't do it.
I believe
Not them.
You can't do it.
that
No, sir.
The
president-
Sean, do like this. You can do that.
the president.
He doing it. That comes so natural. Why they come natural?
No, man.
You vote
Listen.
Fox or Madon?
God
Bahamians,
is good doing news.
Bahamians are struggling to make ends meet
Yes.
in their own country.
Yes.
Bahamians can't afford land in their own country. Bahamians can't afford apartments in their own country.
And also dentistry.
Bahamians can't afford homeowners insurance in their own country. Bahamians are stressed out paying, the light bills are like mortgages in some cases.
Yes, no question.
What does the F&M under your leadership have planned to bring relief, especially in these key areas, and also
healthcare. What? But let's touch briefly on all those. How? Just touch briefly. Just touch briefly. Just touch briefly. Well, he been talking from last week, so let him continue talking till next week. So, and he's been talking very well. I must say that.
Right, thank you.
And so please touch briefly on those things, because I believe any government that provides major relief in housing, major relief in energy, major relief in healthcare, wins the people automatically.
Yeah. So we let me first just touch on housing. We've indicated that we are prepared to build over the course of the 5 years more than 5,000 housing units, standalone homes, as well as housing units that would be multi-story as well. We would use both the traditional systems built with 8-inch block, but we'd also use the new technology that many Bahamians are now bringing in factories and building homes. So that's the first thing. We have an inventory. We have an inventory that needs to be satisfied, according to the government record, of some 12,000 homes. That's what's documented by government, and even more that is not documented.
Absolutely.
I on the list.
And so we have an opportunity, I believe, for the government to be a facilitator. Note that I say facilitator, not the government giving out contracts to persons who are not qualified to build,
Right.
So that they can then subcontract it to somebody else, take their $3,000 to $5,000 off the top,
Yeah.
and then other people build. So I'm not talking about that system. That is a system we need to change. And so
You ask the questions and go on.
we have been in discussion.
slog show.
We have been in
I don't
discussions
understand.
with a number of construction companies, both local and international, to look at how do we go about streamlining the process
So
for
the
construction.
international one for just for consultancy?
Sorry?
The international government companies for consultancy?
No, not just. There are several Bahamians who've brought in factories. I believe all of us in here are aware of that. And they involved in systems built using panels, cut to specification, etc. And you could augment it however or expand it however you want. We believe that those companies that have these manufacturing companies overseas should enter into partnership with Bahamians.
Okay.
So that Bahamians are also shareholders in the systems bill.
That's law, right?
Sorry?
That's law, right, for partnership?
No, it isn't law, but that's the approach that we would take. We believe Bahamians should be shareholders in these companies. I also believe that in order to streamline the process, we should outsource the bulk of the inspection of residential and commercial construction to engineers. We do not need to hire a slew of engineers to be resident in Ministry of Works. We ought to outsource it to those engineers who can move far more quickly.
So is it stagnant?
Correct. So and they ought to be bonded. They know that they'll suffer legal and reputational and financial damage if they inspect a property knowing that you're not ready for the next stage payment, or some safety protocols are not being followed. So we intend to we want to work with Ministry of Works to shorten the flow, the time on the flow chart from the point your plans get into Environmental Health and Ministry of Works and the time it gets out. It's taking too long. We are squandering national opportunities because of the pace at which we're moving. Secondly,
Before you move on, what's the cost of them homes y'all can be afforded to the people?
a wide range. So, for example, one of the concerns that we have is that there are persons who are paying $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 on rent. We believe everybody who is able to pay consistently, salary deduction, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000, they should be paying a mortgage. And we are prepared to use Crown land in order to make sure we help you shave $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 off your largest investment. This would make a difference, for example, for the nurse who is minded to go overseas, and we're saying to her, no, we can't compete with Canada and the US, but we believe if we could help you with your starter home, we are going to shave a substantial amount of money off your largest investment. And when after Uncle Sam then take the taxes out, you may still be $20,000 more, but that may be $20,000 that you're prepared to forego to be home because you are seeking to earn money to take care of your family and make an investment. The same thing is true for police officers. Same thing is true for social workers, people on the front line.
Let me jump right there. You talked about the whole.
By the way, I built and sold homes before, so I'm not guessing on what is possible in terms of how we can negotiate and get stuff done.
You meant okay, and that's even better for what I'm about to say now. I've spoken to several politicians who speak to Bishop off the mic because he's Bishop, so I can say this. So they say things to me that the idea that I'm sworn to secrecy.
Sure.
Right, and I won't expose certain things.
Understood.
Right. But I struggle with this comment here because I've heard it from several politicians on both sides of the fence.
Sure.
The inefficiency of the public service, how inefficient it is. You mentioned Ministry of Works, and I'm saying this probably is probably going to hurt me because I don't know if you know what I do outside of doing preaching, being the bishop. I'm an engineer as well. So I'm on a chain of emails now, and I'm trying to out a fire today, where there are about 4 or 5 different investors, projects, who are saying, forget the Bahamas. I'm sick of this because the wheels turn so slow. That the way we do business here is just backward, for lack of a better word. That I won't say on the radio on this gospel radio station. That they are frustrated on how the system works. So we have these wonderful plans, 5,000 houses. Yeah. That sounds cool. That sound cute, right? And these other things that we can ask for you vision, and you can give us amazing concepts. But it is, and my members in public service, our friends, our family in public service. But the thing is bottleneck after bottleneck after bottleneck, and it seems as though nobody has the guts to fix it. And I believe the reason they're fixing it because everybody's thinking in 5-year cycles. It's not something that you can. I believe the fix to the public service may not get you reelected, and because we have politicians and not patriots, the system ain't fixing. You see what I'm saying? Because you got the politician who I need to secure myself for the next election.
Yeah, I don't have that affliction.
And so I can't shave this, fix this, move that, because if I do, I can lose votes. And as a result, the country is hurting. There are investors lamenting all the time. Foreigners who come here spending money, who's saying, why in the world do I have to wait 6 months for a signature?
It's a problem.
Why I got to wait all this time to get this done and that done? And successive governments, successive administrations, they will say this problem, they know it exists, but we ain't doing it. The F&Ms ain't moving it, the PLPs ain't moving it. Why we ain't fixing all of these inefficiencies that is hurting this country? And that's why I'm saying I think we have been inundated with politicians, and I'm sick of them. Yeah, because they ain't getting the job done. We need patriots who will look at the system and say, you know what, this may get me vote out, but I need to fix the system. Yeah. Talk to me.
We have to be more efficient. So to give you just one example on how we could streamline the system. When I was Minister of Agriculture, I carried a paper to Cabinet asking Cabinet to agree that the Bahamas Investment Authority, where you go to do the business commercial side of your deal, and the technical team in the Ministry of Agriculture, they should be meeting with investors at the same time. It normally happens sequentially. You either go to BIA first or you go to the technical people first. Put the two of them in the room. So you could streamline the process and move on parallel tracks at the same time on the technical details and on the approval process through government. We have to streamline the system. I did training for the Ministry of Work technical staff when I was in that business. So we did a flow chart to look at how the process where things move. And we realize it's taking too long. So again, one solution is to outsource, to take some of that pressure off the system by having private persons who know they make more money. As soon as I could take this one off my desk, I could move on to the next one, etc. It is not in their interest to delay for weeks or months. The other thing I would do from a technical standpoint is few people can do a subdivision in the Bahamas because you require a bond that you have to put up, that you are going to take care of the infrastructure and the utilities, et cetera, right? I believe that bonds are necessary to hold people, make them honest, accountable. However, if you ask me for a $15 million bond, and I've gotten $5 million worth of work done, you should release a corresponding $5 million so that this developer is not faced with a cash flow problem, and they could take that $5 million, complete or invest in a new project, etc. We have to find ways as government officials who are facilitators. We shouldn't be there. Government tentacles are in too many different things. I say our role is to facilitate your success as an entrepreneur, or get the hell out of the way so you could get on with the business of making it rain, because we ain't the ones making it rain.
You know what's said inside the industry a lot? I don't know if you said you were in the industry. It's said that the F&M destroys the small contractors because the insurance bond numbers, the numbers that is asked for because you open that up now, you cost me my energy to go now. That the insurance bond, so you need to show that you've worked on like a lot of these road projects under previous F&M's administration. I'm not going to beat you with that stick, but you did serve in some, so I got to say this.
But the F&M's under new management. But continue. Go ahead. Continue. Go ahead. No, I mean, we're under new management, but no problem. Continue.
So where you have, to get this project, you need to show that you have worked $10 million projects over the last 10 years. But where the devil, the small fella, to find
I agree with you, but didn't Ingram again begin to change that process? Because here's the point. You take a fella who's been doing projects at $100,000,
sure,
and then you give him a $8 million contract. The gap is wide. So
Understood.
What I liked about what he began to do prior to demitting office is graduating the small contractor into a medium and then large. So I take your point.
Yeah.
You have to give people an opportunity with bigger projects,
absolutely,
so that they are able, alone or in conjunction with a partner, to do the mega projects.
Right, and they felt unprotected.
I take your point.
Because here it is now. So how I can get this $20 million insurance, and then I got to get his performance bond and get his other bond here just to get there.
But that happened under both administrations. The performance bond issue
definitely
is a live issue today with many persons who are trying to do subdivision.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm in it, and it's a major lament of a lot of persons in there. Like this ain't making no sense.
So in using the Crown land, we would not only help the entrepreneur who needs Crown land, or the residential, the person who's trying to build a home. It would also help the rental market, because if you're a landlord and you're building to deal with the shrinking rental pool, because now most people are transitioning to Airbnb, right? I just renovated a unit, that's going to Airbnb, right? I mean, my experience with rent hasn't been good, right? I'm owed quite a bit of money, right? But many people are going to Airbnb. Why not empower landlords by way of providing land at concessionary rate if they are building for that pool? And think about this for a moment.
For which pool, long-term or short-term?
No, I'm talking about long-term rental,
pool.
so that they can be. So I support social housing, and there are many formulas for social housing that we are able to put in place.
We're just going back to
that's my commitment. And when you're building large subdivisions, a couple of things should happen. One is we should have senior assisted living facilities that are part of these large housing projects. A lot more families are not in a position to pay for care for their senior citizens, to the extent that some professionals are leaving their job to be home with mommy or daddy. So we are not doing a good job, again, taking care of those on whose shoulders we stand. That's
absolutely
one. The second thing is that's huge for me.
But who can and I can hear why it's huge for you. I feel you. But who can manage that? How we can pay the people to take care of that?
So
I can give you a lot. Okay, I see a lot to put your sins home. How we can fund that?
So there are simple formulas, right? So government helps in making the land available. Developers, if you're billing, just hypothetically, if you're billing 100,000 square foot of homes, built into that formula is I'm expecting you to build either or both a community center as well as a senior assisted care facility.
You want me to build that?
But of
Are you going to give me the concessions to bring these products in
But of course,
at a reduced rate?
But of
That's
course,
what he's saying.
But,
I don't-
but of
I don't
course,
even talk
so all I'm
about the
saying,
property.
all I'm saying is this is not unusual in major cities around the U.S.
So you want me?
where-
So I get because then I can put an extra $6,000 on each of my homes then,
No, you don't have to. I'm saying based on the fact you're making money on volume anyways.
right?
Right? You have a letter of comfort where the government is saying, listen, we're prepared through the mortgage corporation to guarantee X amount of these. Commonwealth Bank is going to do some. Other institutions are going to do some. Some capitalists of VC capital, venture capital, they're going to do some. But the bottom line is you can build an extra facility. That's not complex.
Got you.
We also have a need for daycare centers for people on the autism spectrum, where you have adult children with autism whose family cannot afford, there aren't sufficient specialized organizations to care for them. So we have to pay attention to the child who's at school age, who should be given a fighting chance in the country by having access to educators trained to deal with people who are differently able, and adults who need access to facilities where they can be cared for. So listen, all of us can consider ourselves to be empowered if we have marginalized a segment of our community because we are locking them away as opposed to fully integrating them in the life of the country.
I got two questions. One based on investments, right?
Yes.
And the other one is based on you have a lot of plans. How are you going to now frame to the beginning public, regular Joe public, that listen, everything that you sit down in every show, every stage I go on, every time Mike is in front of my face, I am going to be committed to what I say. I'm going to stand by what I say, and not when I get to where I'm trying to get.
Yes.
I switch.
Switch up, yeah.
One, and then two, I'm not certain. I started to be corrected, but I think there was a statement on the hotel in Grand Bahama, and the project is still being ongoing, but it's been said that it's not ongoing, if I'm mistaken. So, what is your belief on the project in Grand Bahama, the Alukai project? And if do you feel like everything is above board and it's going to go through, everything is going to happen as it says it's going to happen? And how do you convince me and show public?
So you expect them to say, man, I believe this project getting ahead and people can pull this off?
So
That's what I'm saying?
You're asking me to convince you and Joe public what the outcome is going to be?
No, not on the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want your views on that.
Oh, okay.
But I want you to convince me that when you get in, the
I can
things
give it-
that you say you're gonna do.
The best way to determine whether or not somebody is worth investing trust in is to just look at their track record. I've been the same person my entire adult life. I don't make promises that I'm not prepared to honor. And so I would like to compare that, however, with the person who I am running against, right? Judge his track record versus mine. I've already given you Kent Island versus Marco City. 6,400 voters.
But you running against somebody else in Marco City, though.
No. I'm just saying we're just talking about track record. Willingness and ability to execute the things that you promise people. And I'm just saying our track record is very different. I was a minister as well. I could point to concrete things that I was able to do as a minister and leave in place. As the head of Ministry of Works and Water and Sewage, we asked him to point to the things that you did. I could point to a couple of things that he did that we're still trying to unravel. So I'm saying, again, that's one way I am asking you to trust me. Look at my track record. The other thing is, with respect to whether or not the hotel is sold or not, Chester says $120 million was in the bank. If this was the Maury show, Maury would say, on the subject of $120 million being in the bank, Deputy Prime Minister and Prime Minister, that is not true. I didn't say, you said what?
That's a lie.
Sorry, put the mic to him. I just heard you. Okay. All right. So the bottom line is, no, they held a rally using public funds for a signing of a heads of agreement. And it turned out that what they represented to the public was untrue. So recently, the public has expressed its view. They do not believe the Prime Minister. They don't believe that he and Chester being truthful. Now, Chester doesn't even comment on it. What Chester says is go and ask the Prime Minister. Because obviously there's a tug of war between his group of investors and the Prime Minister's group of investors. and neither one seemed to be working out. And we were telling the DPM from the beginning, do not over promise and under deliver. That's not a good look, right? And so we left in place an arrangement we had agreed to. Development of the hotel and the development of the harbor. That was going to be the Royal Caribbean and a group out of Mexico that was working in tandem. The government felt they needed to separate those arrangements and focus on the hotel. We agreed. Kwesi Thompson, Iram Lewis at the time was with us, and myself. We agreed. They still were not able to deliver on it. Why not just be honest with the Bahamian people? You told us in the heads of agreement, 120 is in the bank, plus you said, from this day henceforth, the developer was going to be paying the staff. Today, the staff is owed some money. And even if what they said yesterday, that letter that came out mysteriously from Concord Wilshire saying that
the project
we
is ongoing.
corroborate with the government. But incidentally, I think it came from the office of the Prime Minister, the letter. It's kind of curious. I'm just saying, if you're a big company, couldn't you just send it from your own email in the U.S. on a letterhead? You said it with no letterhead, no date, no nothing. And then, after somebody pointed out...
Ladies and gentlemen, the views of this show does not represent the views that of Glory 93.9.
So then, you know that thing to say, moments later, then it comes out on a letterhead. So either this was the mother of all collaborations, or somebody was doing graphic design. But either way, let's just say hypothetically, it was a legitimate letter from the investor. It still doesn't explain why the government nor the investor was paying the staff, and why 279 of them they're being laid off.
I need to get Honorable Chester Cooper on the show.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be so sensitive. He should just answer the questions. And while he's on the show, you should ask him: is there any particular reason there's been no competitive bidding for any of the major contracts issued by the Ministry of Tourism?
Did you ask him?
I did in the House over and over.
What was his answer?
Crickets.
What's your take on PPPs? Let's log in on it.
PPPs, public-private partnerships. The F&M supports it to such a large extent that we left in place a policy. In the policy for a public-private partnership, it says that we must go to competitive bidding. We must give multiple groups an opportunity to bid on any project, seawall, road, bridge, etc. Why do we?
If I bring $50 million for a project, and I'm a contractor, I'm an engineer contractor, and I bring in this
$50 million.
$50 million.
Yeah. Why do you have to compete?
I gotta compete. I still gotta compete.
That's what the policy says. And let me tell you why the policy says that. Because Kenyatta...
You ain't get me money in the auto. I ain't give me money.
And that may be a blessing in disguise.
It could be. Go ahead.
So I'm saying that the reason we ask you to compete is because even though we like you, we trust you, we're still not sure that we're getting the best price or the best product because you don't compare with nothing. This like dating. You know, the moment the lady found out that, I thought this was a nice guy. And then I learned that he pales in comparison to his first cousin and his brother. Why in the world did I settle that early on this fella? So that's the way it is with these contracts. That we are single sourcing, direct award giving to one company. And they may be charging you 10 or 12% interest rate on that $50 million.
Okay, that's one
but
thing.
others could charge you 8%. So
we don't
better price.
competitive bidding on the money, or you don't, but on the service.
Right.
That's two different things.
No, two different things.
So the interest rate is me lending $50 million, right?
And that's what a PPP is.
Right.
It's a loan.
But then you have, brother government, you have your quality and controls. You have your people that we pay, that works in the different agencies.
Yes.
Who says here's this bidding should cost 25 cents. So you can't bring this from me for 87 cents.
That's fine.
So shouldn't that work if you have the controls in place?
No, because what we are saying is it is better to have multiple companies bidding for the same project. So you could determine based on their track record, if all of them are suitably qualified, wonderful. All of them could do the job. Then you go next to price.
So what's my incentive to helping you because you don't get no money?
Huh?
But the government, you don't get no money.
Yeah, but...
So what's my incentive to give you my $50 million if I don't have no advantage?
What's my incentive for taking your $50 million when there are others who could have a $50 million but may come in at a lower price point in terms of what I have to pay you back?
But then you can tell me what your price point is. You
No,
can tell me where you want
but
me.
then that's colluding. That's me.
No.
privately
That's
with
saying.
you.
That's saying. Here's where we pay across the board.
Right.
Like in some professions.
Yeah.
This you can't charge them more than this for this.
Yeah,
You can't charge them more than this for this.
Yeah.
So here's what the service costs.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? What you then do is you are now narrowing the pool of people who are going to be able to get work. In other words, so you're coming with 50 million and you say, because I bring in you my money, all you have to do is tell me, man, listen, I don't, 50 million is too rich for our blood. Lend us 40, we are in a better position to pay that back, and we go in with you. No, what we're saying is we have a bridge to build. We want multiple people have money, so we want multiple people to answer this request for proposal.
Okay.
So we can determine if
You back it up in the way I want you to go. So the lion's share is people who bring in this money.
Yeah.
Are foreigners or Bahamians. The lion's share.
It's a combination.
Okay.
We have Bahamians who are brokers who are going to financial institutions overseas to bring money. This is where that interest rate continues to grow.
Let's talk about the Bahamians.
Yeah, let's go to the
I cut you
Bahamians.
off. Let's talk about the Bahamians.
Yeah.
Sorry for cutting you off,
No
but
problem.
I ain't sorry.
It's okay, bro.
I cut this is barbershop. So the Bahamians.
Yes.
The Bahamian with he got 20 million, he got whatever, and they bring these PPPs to you.
Yes.
And we got to go through this whole bidding thing and all stuff like that.
Correct.
However, when we see a foreigner comes to do a hotel or this one come to do a project, the perception is they get the red carpet.
Yeah.
They get the red carpet and they just do whatever they want to do as a foreigner.
Two separate issues, but I take your point.
But I mean, like there's this whole idea of incentivizing them, facilitating them, rolling over to them, throwing things at them to do it. But now we're saying in this instance we ain't gonna. So obviously this person getting favor because of their.
It's two different
And a lot of
things.
times they come here with
It's two different things.
no, but they still getting favor based on we saying we want this product. So why you don't give me favor? Who's saying I got his money to give you?
The red carpet should be for the Bahamian and the foreigner alike. Your example with the hotel is different because a guy is coming in to spend $750 million on a hotel, and he is seeking to come, or she, to acquire the land and then to go to town to build, and is taking advantage of the hotel encouragement act and all the benefits that go
And
with
we
that.
roll over him.
A PP, no, but
Go
I'm saying
ahead.
we shouldn't roll. What I'm saying, he or she should get no better treatment than the Bahamian who is coming with 10 million to do a bread and breakfast or a medium-sized hotel. All of us should be given the same treatment. That's what I believe. So I'm for the empowerment of our people who've been historically disadvantaged. But all I'm saying is you have to have competitive bidding, or you'll never know if you got the best product or service at the best price. That's the problem.
You saying they're in the same, but I'm saying that they're a whole lot closer than that Rick Foxing was doing earlier. They closer because he comes and says, I need these persons. And we don't make them compete. He says, I need this. We don't make them compete.
What do you mean?
I need 87 Mexicans to do this. I need 97 Filipinos to do this.
No,
and we
we
roll over. We roll over to all of these
No, I
different
think
requests
that's
that
a
they
shame
made.
that the government does. I mean, under me, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't be rolling over.
You want to be rolling over?
No.
I tell you, I have been seeing politicians not patriots.
Would you ask a good question about PPPs? And I don't want to lose
Finish
that.
it. Go ahead.
The government has given out.
Finish it.
The government has given out more than $500 million in direct awards through PPPs. Through PPPs or just contracts, not just PPPs. So in other words, that means that the government can say, you get a contract for 60 million, you get one for 100, you get one for 75, with no bidding. Something's wrong with that. So even if it's a PPP, where the government didn't have the money, the government doesn't. The government is broke, but the PPP
I
get
cut you
plenty
off.
money.
Yes, scenarios now. You said you get one, you get you one. The three of them, you just pointed them.
Yeah.
Did they bring the money too?
No, in some cases they don't.
Okay, all right. I think it's separate, but go
Yeah, they're
ahead.
separate. I'm just
Okay.
showing you in direct award.
Okay.
Because a PPP is also a direct award if there's no competitive bidding.
Sure, got you.
Because listen, if the government guarantees me
Right.
a $50 million seawall construction, bro, I could go out and find somebody with $50 million and get my 2% off that. That's the problem. But if you have competitive bidding, it forces your good friend to say, boy, I got to come in with a better price. But if you know only you getting this, you have no incentive to lower the price. You don't even have incentive to do good work. And so that's why I support, here's what competitive bidding does. It increases the pool of Bahamians who are making money. Everybody got to eat. It can't be one select group of families that are eating, one select group of business partners that are eating. I don't care if they F&M or PLP, because oligopolies are made up of F&Ms and PLPs
Absolutely.
at the top. And so in my view, someone like me who's not tied to any of the oligopolies, I'm not for making sure they fail. I celebrate their success.
Say it again.
But I want
People
to
in the back
bring
of the room there. You said you ain't tied to none?
I'm not tied to any of them. I'm not an extension
Why they lying on you?
of any of them.
Why they lying on you?
Because they are the children of a father of lies. And so that's why. So I don't find it straight. I don't find. So all.
So you saying lies is lie?
Yeah, no. They
Some
do.
powerful boy, you say make sure one set of people get no one set of people get
No, we have to make sure everybody eat. And that's why I like the idea of us. Listen, you can't tell me in order for me to buy in to generation at BPL or some other area of BPL, I got to come to the table with $60,000 or $50,000 or $30,000 to buy in. I have suffered the inconveniences of our light have been turned off or the business failed. And now that an opportunity for privatization come, I gotta come up with $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to buy it.
You know ain't happening.
No.
You ain't got the kind of money.
You tell
We
me
don't
I
have that
can't
kind
get
of
it.
money.
Yeah.
So you should be able to buy in at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So what the government is doing at BPL is obscene.
And you realize you get more buy-ins that way?
What do you mean?
When you allow persons to buy in at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, you get more buy-ins that way.
Of course, we want. Listen, what is different between us and them? For people who want to know what will the F&M do? One, we believe the sovereign should maintain a stake. That is, the state should maintain a stake. Part of that money goes into
That's
the region.
Pintard or the F&M? This
The Free
new
National Movement.
This new
I
F&M or the old one?
I don't speak out of tone with the party. I believe.
No, I mean, you saying that historically that's been the difference?
No, I'm saying this is what the difference is right here with us.
That's what you're talking about. Okay. That's what it is now. Okay,
Under
all
my
right.
leadership.
All right.
That we believe that a portion of the monies being generated should go to the upkeep of the infrastructure or the infrastructure plan. A portion of it, since it's one of our natural resources, should go into the Sovereign Wealth Fund. But always, Bahamians should have an opportunity to buy in. We do not believe I have to buy into somebody else's company in order to have shares. That's what the statement was made to me. What is Pintard talking about? We have a company. You could buy shares in that, but maybe you don't buy into your company. We don't believe you should be getting that contract exclusively to do that.
So I have,
Yeah,
I
but
have
of course.
a
All right,
question.
let's be fair. Let's hit me some questions online. Even if I don't get the answer, let's just throw them out there. Let's start rolling them, and if he jumps in the iron, we go. It's a ton. It's a ton. How will your administration support rehabilitation and prevention programs for at-risk youth? If you could do it in a snaps, real quickly, so we can get through a few of them. I know you got to go.
Okay.
How will your administration support rehabilitation and prevention programs for at-risk youth?
We have numerous programs that exist already with persons who are clinically trained, in some cases clinically trained and anointed, who are running counseling programs, work programs that you could have non-custodial sentencing for young people who enter those programs if they get in trouble, or if they're headed for trouble, they could enter those programs and they get counseling, mentorship, and they're given opportunities to work. That's straightforward. We've been doing.
So you're saying that already exists?
Yeah,
Already
it
there.
exists. We just need to expand it.
All right. Good evening, Honorable Michael Pintard. This is from Reggie Knows. What is your plan on bringing the Bahamas on par with the rest of the world, whether it be in the tech industry, ownership, or investments?
The beauty of technology is you could leapfrog other countries. You don't have to go through all those stages because you could adopt the technology at this stage of our development. We have a lot of talented Bahamians who are technology savvy. The government just needs to, in my view, create opportunities for them to onboard those technology in the Bahamas. Let me give one example of something we did that this government criticized. We said if there are certain niche areas in technology that don't exist, let's create space for others to come in, set that up with the proviso, the condition that Bahamians become a part of that in terms of not only as employees, but they could also be owners with these persons who are coming in. I support that. Let's bring in folks where we have not yet entered a sector, and then let's grow that sector together. Let's put in place the legislation that allows us to onboard new technologies, etc. So I think you adopt or you import best practices elsewhere and adapt it to suit your environment.
Got to give me that one. Keep me rolling, Dalton. It's from Gandhi Pinder. Michael Pintard is a servant leader, and this ain't no question, and does what he says he will do.
She started
I work
good.
with
Please
him.
keep
I
it
know,
going.
right? I work with him while on radio. I was also in his play Woman Talk, and he has always been professional, passionate, and purpose-driven. You need to be PR director, Gandhi. I've seen what he's done in inner-city communities, Fox, etc. Fox Hill. This season is a continuation of a service. You owe us a stipend, a part of your pay for PR.
Thanks very much, Gandhi. I really appreciate you. Love you.
Yeah. We love NPR here on this show. I'm Gandhi. Michael Pierre says, what's the purpose of Bahamas Development Bank? They don't help entrepreneurs.
Bahamas Development Bank needs to be, I believe, repurposed. It needs to be recapitalized. And we need to take the political appointments out of Bahamas Development Bank. And if you are able to hire Bahamian professionals who are not dictated to by policymakers, we increase the chance of a recapitalized, that is, putting in sufficient money in Bahamas Development Bank to do what it was designed to do. Unfortunately, political interference has destroyed and damaged Bahamas Development Bank, and we need a reset.
But Mike, you sound us a dream now, because you want to hear that. We need to take the political influence out.
It's doable.
It always comes back, though. I mean, because if you appoint me, you still interfering.
No,
if you could fire me.
No, let me give you an example.
How you do that?
One of the things the Free National Movement will do that is going to be different is with board appointments. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with nuclear solutions for these boards where one government comes in and change everybody on a board. So other than the minutes, which most people are not going to take the time to read, you don't have any institutional memory of all the things that people have been working on, right? And so I believe it is important to, one, select persons not just on the basis of their politics, because sometimes parties reward supporters with board appointments, even in cases where they're not qualified to be on the board. And so we have to stop that. The second thing that would be different is we ought to ask the sector, and do so in law, that the sector has a say in recommending persons who would sit on the board. In that way, you reduce technically the number of people a minister can appoint, because the sector has a position statutorily on that board.
You didn't get these fellas.
So you increase the number of independent.
No, yeah, you know when these fellas are not, because we're not in the days now, and they ain't asking no questions.
No, I have a question.
I'm very disappointed in these fellas. No. Pause. No, I want to ask a question. Hold on. So are you telling me, Michael Pintard, that I campaign with you, I wait the ground, I done do all this stuff, I know MP, I know senator, I ain't get no board?
No, a board consistent with your skill set.
Because that sounds cute, that's not, but that sounds nice.
With your skill set.
I need one board. I can need that $1,400 or that $800. I can need that.
That's why we growing the economy. So, bro, listen. That's why we growing the economy.
Stop it. Y'all stop pumping it.
So listen, I have a question.
We're gonna be able to cut. We're gonna be able to divert some of the money from the consultancy contracts. Listen, and to provide medicine, fire engines, ambulances, etc., and still have money left for the persons you're talking about.
So
and we ain't paying you to be in a ministry online savaging the opposition
You're trying to
all
say
day
the
long. We can do that.
salaries are that exorbitant?
A $250 million.
So let me ask you a question. If elected,
how much you say?
What is
$250 million. What? That's the correct figure. $250 million.
Well, let me ask you a question for you.
$250 million.
Yeah.
We doing online questions now, you know. We online.
You say we ask no question. I have one last question. See, trying to get a job.
No, we can get one. You didn't say when he went?
No, he said when.
But he gone. Tito gone.
Yeah.
Make sure I put me in the right sector.
Yes, sir.
All right, no. We can get one question each day on the show. I just want to get some more online. Delton, you getting fussed out because you say okay, here we go. Nayoshi Johnson. The whole sense of the show this evening is Pintard wanted to take cheap shots at the PLP. He did and avoided all other questions. I'm not impressed.
That's not true. He didn't avoid all
Boy, you didn't all the way.
My apologies, Nayoshi. Please let me raise a question so I can answer your question directly if you feel. But I didn't think I duck and dodge any. I mean,
Kevin Moss.
I don't function that way. But
Kevin Moss, he keep on hitting brave them as a first-time voter. I don't care to hear about that. And this come early in the show. This can't be late in the show.
Yeah, that must be early in the show.
No, it wasn't early in the show. This was late in the show. Wow.
No, man, I don't oppose without proposing.
And that's for both parties. I want to hear what you will do better, and y'all wonder why the voter numbers down. Clown show is our politics. I
don't know. Sure, they was listening to.
I ain't defending our guest. Now, come on now.
That's a pseudo name.
Nah, come on now. You're pushing it.
Kevin, you come back. Come back. Go come back, Kevin. Go come back.
Yeah, now come on now.
Yeah, Kevin, come back. You gotta go come back.
I'm taking umbrage now. You're running out now.
Yeah.
Smooth singer. All right, smooth singer. Smooth singer say, ask him if he will make way for Bahamian to be paid from YouTube channels.
Yeah, we listen. I'm a creative, so I support creatives.
Can you stop being the chairman of the body?
I support creatives.
Calm down, bro.
I support creatives being able to get royalties from their creativity through all social media platforms, and so we have to work across border with those persons who collect the revenue to repatriate to the Bahamas. So, for example, I have a album of poetry with music that when I lived in Canada, I could look to benefit from it. Now that I'm back home, there doesn't seem to be the mechanism how I'm able to be paid royalties on that. So I'm committed.
You know me and Sean very interested in this.
Yeah. So I'm very much interested in learning that system to be of benefit to you. I'm a creative.
So how serious will you be? Sorry, I on this all. I cheated. Sorry. Okay, let me do it.
No.
Next question. No, I want to know. I want to know how you can deal with this whole technology thing. I mean, because it's like it keeps on throwing up. But how serious will you be about it? Next one online. Next one online. From an entirely objective point of view. This is from Vera Wilson. There are a few politicians I have heard with the capacity to so specifically address a range of issues with a snapshot of a range of solutions. If you don't hear that, it's because you don't want to hear it. If this is only quick thinking and good talk with little substance, it's still better than a lot of what is circulating. Signed, a non-voter. I look forward to hearing other representatives hold their own like this. That's a good combination from Vera
I
Wilson.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're saying the good thing. You're throwing the bus. He's answering the questions.
This one is from, I answered you. This one is from Da Vinci Lou Brunson. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing? I just want to ask Mr. Pintard, how would his party be able to assist with persons with disabilities, in particular deaf and hard of hearing community? We have been having challenges getting persons to attend UB, BTVI, and other institutions where there are no accessibility for us, such as closed caption, more interpreters, and etc.
Right. So a couple of things. I mentioned one already, that I think there's a need for us to increase the number of facilities that provide educational opportunities, particularly for struggling families who have children with who have special needs. So there's a need for more facilities. Secondly, there's a need for more scholarships to be given to educators who wish to specialize in terms of addressing the educational needs of not only persons with special needs, but also Bahamians who learn differently than through the traditional educational system. And then, of course, we believe that the earlier you are able to reach a child that has challenges, the more you increase their chance of having a close as possible to a normal life. And therefore, we are supporting universal, free preschooling, which we initiated when Jeff Lloyd was in the chair. And then, of course, we need to enforce the law. And enforcing the law means that buildings, facilities, programs that are televised or should always be sensitive to the members who have special needs, and so that they could also get the message. So again, we need to follow the law and do that.
You've mentioned a lot of things that we need. I keep on saying Brother Mike, and I said in the convention that you're way older than me. So Uncle Mike, how are you gonna pay for these things?
I just indicated a couple of things.
Where you can find all this money from?
We're spending.
There's a lot of things you said. Where you can find this money?
We have recently.
He have access to $250 million.
We have recently increased the VAT collections, right, by about $1 billion. So you are able to divert some of that from, for example, the consultancy contracts, the padded contracts that are again inflated, that we ought to be able to substantially reduce. There are a multiplicity of ways in the existing revenue in the country for us to pay for a number of the things that we need.
0 to 10 over the last, I can just do this administration, over the last 20 years, how corrupt have we been operating in our governments?
That's a difficult question. I would only say that there is very little commitment to stamping out corruption under this particular administration. We passed the ombudsman.
Was it there in the one before this one, and the one before that, and the one before that?
Right. So
no, I want to answer that. Has there been
corruption?
Corruption being systemic in this country?
Across administrations, we have had
So
challenges.
how are you going to fix this in 5 years?
Right. So No, I'm running a relay. So there are some concrete things I'm able to do with my leg of the relay. One is to fully implement within the first year the Freedom of Information Act. That only requires pretty much resources for the software and to populate the unit with the required persons according to the information czar. Much of what he needed to do, the vast majority, has been completed. What they need now is a commitment from government. Secondly, you pass the ombudsman law, which permits ordinary citizens to make complaints relative to public officials. Give it teeth. Put in place the resources required. Thirdly,
Mike, we can do that.
give the police. We will do it. Listen.
Because we don't trust confidentiality in this country.
Again,
We don't trust confidentiality.
Again, one of the reasons people have a problem with confidentiality or they are not trusting enough to be open about corruption they see because they know that we are not committed to protecting whistleblowers.
That's what I'm saying, right.
Which is ironic because you remember the Prime Minister recommended that if a woman is being accosted or assaulted, she should blow a whistle.
See why they say what they say just now?
Now that he is
he
is in the chair, whistleblowers seem not to be able to get his protection. Case in point, the former director of immigration wrote a letter relative to Minister Keith Bell being concerned as to whether or not he was acting lawfully in the naturalizing of several foreigners, which required a renunciation of their citizenship and also a cabinet conclusion. She's forced into retirement. The deputy was on administrative leave. We ought to protect whistleblowers. The Prime Minister should not be in the news trying to figure out how the information got on. How did we get a copy of the letter? You know, this is like you know the woman is challenging her boyfriend or husband, and he is more concerned about how she found out or rather than whether or not it's accurate. We will know, is it accurate? And so again, there should also be independent oversight of the police force. The police should not be able to investigate itself. There are too many law-abiding police officers
Who can be this independent overseer?
Who love this country. But the handful of people who bring disrepute on the vast majority of honest, hardworking officers. And so you are talking about corruption. I'm saying there are ways we could fix it. Had I been in the chair, we would fast track the case involving the explosive voice note. I would seek to work with the Chief Justice to say, how do we bring this case forward so that we can deal with it quickly? Why do we need to deal with it quickly? Not because it is a robbery with a relatively small amount of money, $1 million and change, but because of the amount of people that died in the aftermath of it. That should be so startling to us as a people. If 3 suspects in the robbery are murdered, if one person supposedly in retaliation is murdered, if 3 innocent bystanders on Step Street, where I lived for 12 and a half years, catch strays when people were looking for one other person, if there are possibly, the number could be wrong, but if there's possibly 6 to 7 bodies associated with a case, that case should be of such significance that the CEO of the country, who is the leader of the executive, should be able to talk to the Chief Justice, who's his co-equal, and say, listen, we need to expedite this matter because this is of grave importance. So all I'm saying is I do not see a sense of urgency among members of the executive to address these issues. We have one particular government corporation where persons who worked in a particular person's campaign in the last election, who have been the beneficiaries of contracts, who work side by side on a political side, ends up killing each other. Is that the politician's fault? No, I don't think it is necessarily. But I do have a problem if you're being paid by a government agency and you have the capacity to put out voice notes that I can put some bands on your head. And I know prior to them getting these contracts, they had no band to put on anybody's head. And their contract wasn't pulled, threatened, and MPs are showing up on the scene with crocodile tears in their eyes. Bro, I ain't buying that. Because if you love these young people and you want to see them do well, you should set a standard that if I hear any nonsense about you all threatening to run up on each other, you're working in the department that I'm responsible for, deal over, politics or no politics, I turning you into the police, or I ending your contract because you shouldn't be living this way.
So what I said, right? If
We got to bring the minister back.
if elected,
This is not the minister yet.
if elected,
Tito
what is
Tito
going
made
to
him the
be?
minister, but
What
he
you
ain't the
think is
minister
going to be the most unpopular decision you make within your first year?
Well, I think for the former administration, it would be the freedom of information because we can open up the books. That's one. People need to know how their monies have been spent. Secondly, so for all those agreements where we don't know the interest rate and so forth, we need to know them. The second thing is we need a commission of inquiry on immigration. We need, I call it a select committee, but somebody said to me, people don't understand what a select committee. All it is independent people other than just government or people in the public service should be in a position to investigate work permits, permanent residencies, and citizenship, and how they were executed. We should be able to investigate how does it appear that people are coming in with freshly minted passports, and some folks who I grew up with still waiting for citizenship, having been here 40, 50 years, and there are others who can come within the last 5 years, and they've gotten sorted out. So those are issues that require an open, candid conversation in the country so we could know one of two things. One, how do we fix a broken system? And two, how do we remove bad actors? We don't believe that bad actors should be the gatekeepers. That's a problem.
Can you not get access to this information about what's being spent and what's being by virtue of your sitting with the public accounts, whatever that.
Right.
That,
so some
can't
things
you get access to all of the
So
information?
right now we are ready. We are ready with the initial reports for the Public Accounts Committee. The government officials do not attend the meeting. They haven't been prepared to sign this last report. We are waiting to see if the member from the other organization is going to sign the report. We believe if we could benefit from their signature, just reporting what has been said to us, we'll be able to release 4 of the reports. But in many cases, you don't get all of the information. But we have gotten a fair amount of information on Carifta, on the Bahamas Jubilee game, the Auditor General's report, and on consumer affairs. So we will.
So you will be releasing something soon. We can have something soon.
Well, if we could get the signature. Other than that, we intend
What recourse
to
do
release
you
it.
have?
We'll release it as a minority report.
No, I'm saying, what recourse do you have if you don't get this stuff? Will we just sit there and just say, okay, we didn't
Oh,
get it?
no. We draw to the public's attention that up to the time of this report, these people did not comply, or whatever provisions is available in the law to compel them. We are prepared to use those as well.
Let me get 3 more online. That's it. And then we got to get about here. Let me before I get a bill. I can't bid. Zenobia Adley says, why wasn't these suggestions put forth to the government now when Mr. Pintard is representative of the PAC? Okay, the PAC.
No, we are. In fact,
Again,
I just answered that question.
Yeah, answered. Give me next one.
So yes, we are going to move expeditiously with the reports that we have completed, and so yes, thank you very much.
Virtual being, and make sure give me some because I get in these texts. I don't know what show they're listening to. They say we ain't challenging the leader. I don't understand. What they want us to fight? I mean, what they want us to do? Pick him up, throw him down? I mean, I don't understand what he wants to do. I mean, I think his ability to answer the questions means that we hit him hard enough. Because he can answer the question.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs won't go on shows unless he can duck questions. He's tell you he ain't coming on the show if you go open up the phone line. I don't duck a dodge. I prepare dance. I work for you, We serious when we tell the public we work for you, not the few. We work for you, not the few.
Virgil Bain said, noting the continued issues we face with sexual deviancy and assault, is there a consideration for an active sexual offenders registry? Can we get? Yeah, was it take on that?
Yeah, so that is a live discussion right now in the Free National Movement with respect to our platform. I believe that persons who are serial rapists or offenders in this area should be identified so that you know who you're living next to. Again, there is an argument about whether or not somebody with a one-time offense, depending on the severity of that, whether or not they should be placed on the same list with everybody else. So an 18-year-old or an 18-year-old who's having a relationship with a 16-year-old that goes south.
Sure.
Is that the equivalent, for example, of somebody who we know to be habitually deviant? So that's where the argument is as to whether or not that person should be on the list with somebody who's a serial offender. Yes, let's identify them.
Good.
No ifs, ands, and buts.
2 more. That's one. Give me 2 more. Randigo says, can you explain your interaction with Lincoln Bain as we talked about that, right? As a leader and someone aspiring to be prime minister? Do you believe your response was justified, and do you think it sets the right example?
My response, you did
for
not see a
future
response. You did not see a
leaders?
response from me. I could think probably about 30 years ago what that response would have been. So I don't want to waste time with him. I don't want to waste time with him. I want to focus on solving problems that the Bahamian people face, and not him. Not him.
This last one, go ahead. This be a good juicy one. Oh, here we go. My question for Mr. Pintard tonight. What are you going to do with Mr. Dames, because I believe he needs to resign?
This is a live and a very recent matter, so we are going to examine the facts, and then we'll make a decision, as I and we have made in every case where you all have raised questions about potential candidates. You name the constituency where you've had a concern, and the decision has been made. That's why we have 41. That's why we have 39 of the 41 already ratified, and that situation will be no different. So we'll gather the facts, and then we'll make a determination on what has to happen. But right now, we certainly believe that he is not at all involved, but we'll monitor the situation.
Got it. Kenny,
I would like for you to also ask the question of the Prime Minister. What is his position relative to anyone on his team who have either been named or sufficient information have been given about their identity, even if their name wasn't called and we know who they are? Ask him what his position is.
We get him on the show. Sean, you get one. It could be a comment. It could be a question. We got to go.
Can I have your support in the upcoming? Not just you.
I know one
but
thing.
you and your household, the vote and your support and influence.
I would say this, Minister Pintard, you have spoken well. You have answered every question, I think, to the satisfactory of the board of directors.
Speak for yourself. Why speak for yourself? Because I can talk for myself.
Listen,
Why do you speak for me?
I've known you for a while. This is the first time I've seen you speak in this type of forum. Being asked these numerous questions, and I believe that you are a definite good leader. Will that translate to you becoming the next prime minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? Well, the public will have to answer that. But it was an amazing time with you here on this show. I wish we could have you back, because I think more Bahamians need to hear from you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, I get text.
Thank you, my brother.
I get text now, and people getting upset. Man, can you please ask a question? You should have typed it on the screen so I could see it. All right, this one. I've been in Curry favor. She said, please ask him this before you close the show. Many small business owners struggle with access to capital. How does the F&M plan to improve funding opportunities and reduce, this is on the show actually, okay, and reduce barriers to financing for entrepreneurs?
Right. We made available $50 million when we were last in government through grants and through the venture capital fund. They could also, apart from giving grants, they would take an equity position in your business if you were minded to. We believe we need to at least double that amount to $100 million, and that is easily doable, particularly with the heads of agreement, where you earmark a percentage of revenue from those particular developers for particular areas. So, for example, the cruise port earmarked 2% that was to go to BAIC. That could have been earmarked, and 2% is substantial given how well they are performing. So if you had made an investment of $400,000 initially, you would have gotten that back by now in dividends. So we will, in heads of agreement, get companies to earmark benefits for the Bahamian people, including grant money for small business development. And then say, finally, we also need to encourage venture capitalists from the private sector to invest more in micro, small and medium-sized businesses, and we should look at tax breaks for any business that is minded to invest in the development of micro and
is
small
that a commitment,
businesses.
or you will? You say you should. I mean,
that is a commitment.
Okay, all right. Let's make sure
we ought to make provisions to incentivize them to do so.
It's been a lot of F&M criticism regarding the new healthcare center proposed by the PLP. What then is their plan to improve maternity with services at PMH Alternative? I've paid thousands for private ward services, and it's still being insufficient within the last 5 years. No hot water, beds breaking down, AC units not working, all of which I made complaints to the proper authorities, and excuses made, and accountability shifted to me as though I was hallucinating after my C-section. And importantly, no beds, so my labor room ultimately was my recovery room. Also, what is his plan for? I can't give you 2 questions, man.
You done cheating, man.
One question.
Listen, that the first question is a weighty question.
That's a Fox Alien do.
Yeah, so as a member of parliament for Marco City, one of the largest expenses we have is trying to help families who cannot afford some of the basic medical services. Because at the RAN, there's a challenge with diagnostic equipment, and in some cases on the island, no medical facility has the required equipment like MRI machine. So I'm grateful, and I want to say it openly to those persons who have assisted us as we flew persons in to do MRIs here in New Providence. Burton Rogers was one of the persons who assisted us in Grand Bahama, and others. We want to thank you. So just to speak to the issue of the new hospital, we believe there is a need for expanded maternal and pediatric help that the specialized hospital seeks to offer. But we believe that you have the ability to do that in a new and improved PMH where there is adequate land surrounding and a plan that was left in place as a result of a robust study conducted by Bahamians and others on a new Princess Margaret, a new RAN. So it isn't as if this government came in and met no plans on the table. They cannot say that because the reports exist. We are saying it is not practical. It's not practical, Tito, for them to say that they are building a brand new specialty hospital, not a comprehensive hospital, when they don't have the ability to put in place the required amount of medication, equipment, or staff in the existing hospital, and to complete some of the outstanding work on the existing hospital. If you have no ability to do that, how are you going to build a brand new hospital and also maintain that? Bear in mind, the existing hospital, probably as much as 90% of the cost is borne by the government and 10% by a paying public. With the new hospital, the same formula will a business plan to show how they will realign fees so that the public is able to pay for the new hospital. So if you can't pay for the existing hospital, how will you build a brand new hospital? How would you do the same in Grand Bahama? You are unable to outfit, resource the RAN. How are you going to also build a new hospital in Grand Bahama? So we are saying, listen, let us, not a greenfield brand new development. Let's go ahead. If you need to acquire additional property, let us build on the existing property, upgrade it with haste through competitive bidding, getting in the best in class in every area so that we are able to save lives. $600 million or thereabout is spent outside the country on healthcare. I believe if we were to work with existing facilities, Doctors Hospital and others in the Bahamas, we may be able to substantially bring on shore a couple $100 million that we're spending overseas. Bahamians deserve better, and we ought to create a pathway for them to, again, provide the services. Right now, if you're in the private ward, you're doing much better than if you're in the public ward. If you're in doctors, you're getting even better services, right? So we need to figure out a way. Let me give one practical example when people say, what could be that way? Well, if you're providing to the government as a private service provider, MRI services, CAT scan, whatever it is, and you say, listen, we're going to give you, if you give us 50 of the MRIs, the price point may have been this, but we're prepared to do it at a dramatically lower price based on volume, that you're able to negotiate some of the services you get at a dramatically less price by entering into an arrangement with other service providers who have the ability to provide it. One of the problems we have with NHI, which we wish to expand dramatically, the government is not paying the service providers. If you are not paying the service providers, if you're doing business with pharmaceutical companies on the basis of cash because they don't trust you are bad pay, that's a problem. Right. And I believe that if we sit down with people who are much smarter than me and the rest of us policymakers who are in the healthcare profession, and we listen to their recommendations, we're in a better position to do better than we've been doing. Both governments share responsibility in the state of affairs that we have in healthcare, but it has to stop. We are losing people on a regular basis because we haven't fixed it.
That's personal for me, so I won't even comment. It's a personal story, so I leave it alone right there.
Yeah. Let Tito go first.
Go, Tito. Your last comment. Question or comment? I mean, I think you could just sit on this, do this, and then you can stop because you didn't. You got.
Everyone knows he's a pivot kind of guy. Today I pivot.
You pivot?
I pump fake.
I reverse pivot. I know the next move is, but right now I reverse pivot.
So you read now? You read now?
For now.
You read, okay.
We appreciate it, my brother.
When you should forget, I can send you the clip.
No.
send you the clip from the show.
As a man of faith, you have to pray that God would solidify him in this position. This ain't about monitoring. This is about praying for confirmation, and that I would so live and function, and we'd so live and function that we earn his confidence.
Because I came in black.
Yeah.
You came in what?
Yeah.
I came in black.
Yeah.
You was black?
Yeah, man. You know he ain't blue. You know who they are.
Yeah, he can.
What do you think is one of the most, in your opinion, one of the country's most weakest structural situations right now, and how do you plan on fixing it and not managing it?
No, the healthcare system. I just mentioned several things that I think we ought to do, but healthcare, and it's not just the We did a survey, and we know the PLP is polling in the same way. In the top 4 items of importance to Bahamian is healthcare, and not just physical health, but the emotional and mental health of our people is equally important to Bahamian. The anxiety, the stress, the fears is so high among people. That's why people are trying to harm themselves. That's why people are turning to substance abuse or excessive amount of anything that titillates them and give them relief. It's a crisis. And so we have to approach the situation with that kind of seriousness that our people are hurting. And politics aside, for people out there, you may not support me or support the Free National Movement, but at least support your country. Don't let those who you support off the hook. I don't expect F&Ms to let us off the hook if we're not ready for prime time. Too much is at stake. And all of us, PLP and F&M, we're temporary. We only can be here for a season. You want to build the kind of country that your children, your grandchildren are going to make it. So don't be wedded to me or wedded to the F&M. Be wedded to the country. And if we making sense in this season, give us a shot. And the day we stop making sense, then you move on. But I do know this government cannot take us further. When they talk about choose progress in which area?
Well, I could say this.
Let me last comment.
Yeah, I just say, and he can take his tie and put the tie back on now. He did well.
Here's my last question.
Thank you very much.
I've asked this to every politician we've had on the show. We have quite a few. And let me not say that part. I've been, for lack of a better word, if they listen, I hate that they offended. I've been disappointed by all the answers to this question. They've asked every politician that we've had so far. To me, in this country, we have had managers for the last few elections. People managing the country. We have not had leaders that have brought big ideas. We're struggling for lack of big ideas. We have persons who come in here and we say, upgrade this radio station, and they sweep in and paint the wall. That's not upgrading my station. Michael Pintard, the nation is struggling for a big idea. We need many big ideas. We've heard this show when you talked about some fixes, some tweaks, which are some good management things I expect a manager to do, to fix and upgrade some things. To me, that's cool.
Sure.
That ain't gonna take us to where we need to go.
No. 5,000 houses will get you. That's a massive step in the right direction.
What is Michael Pintard's big idea? What's that big idea, man? Or one of your big ideas that can really shift this country? Fixing the hospital, cool, that's not a big idea. That's something that needs to happen. No, that needs to happen. No, so that's not something that I need your mind for.
Fixing a crisis is always a big idea.
No, but then what I'm saying to that is that's what should happen. The fact that we're even making this, the fact that it's a big idea speaks to the small thinking of where we are in this country.
I understand.
You see what I'm saying? I'm saying, what is that innovation? What is that creativity? What is that next level thinking that we're going to next for the next 53 years or to get us, Lord, to the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Are we just going to be fixing stuff? Or are we going to be breaking through? What's that breakthrough? What do you see as something that we can break through in, that we can...
I'll answer that specifically, but let me just caution you. When you have a crisis, the fixing of that crisis requires a big disruption. And to fix a healthcare system where we are spending $600 million overseas that we could bring home, that's a big deal. We import $1 billion worth of food, and 80 cents plus of every dollar is going out to supply the tourism industry. To change that is a big idea. And it's
I don't think it's an idea. I think it's mandatory. I think it's an obligation.
It's an obligation.
The fact that it's not being done, it is nonsensical. see what I'm saying? It's nonsensical. It's like, what are we doing that we actually got to say that it's a big idea to fix this big hole in the roof?
I can leave you to ponder that, etc. in your private time, but let me then go to would maybe bring some comfort.
But I get your point about what's going to do. I understand that.
So
I get that.
I told my personal story. I've been suspended twice.
Yeah.
Expelled on the third time.
Yeah.
Readmitted into AF Adley because of my mother's character. I believe I'm uniquely positioned to talk to young people who have felt hopeless, who had the wrong sense of what masculinity is, and who didn't see the value of education. I'm saying that to get to your question. I don't drive through a corner over the hill and not think about how we change those corners. I don't.
Right.
From the top of the hill, Fort Wayne Castle, all the way to Robinson Road. And if you want to go further, you could go to Pinewood. From Nassau Street to Village Road, you see a steady decline over the hill. Throughout those corners, a lot of young men and women are not attached to the system. They're attached to no F&M, no PLP, because they are so disillusioned with our inability to fix some of the most basic issues. One of those issues, a lot of people are coming out of wiping situations every day. No, 3 houses, 4 houses unregulated in one yard. Maybe one has a bathroom. How do you convince a young lady growing up in that environment that a fella taking her to a corner motel is not a massive upgrade for her? And you were trying to tell her to live a disciplined life. How do I tell? As when I first moved in Fox Hill, you're trying to get fellas off the block until you get to go where they live and see them same hungry eyes, children, or the girl who they used to date when she was young, have outgrown them now that she has greater needs than a half a bag of weed meat. How do you change those kinds of situations? So you were talking about big idea. Big idea is an old idea. Let's have real urban renewal. Let's transform over the hill from Fort Wayne Castle to Robinson Road, from Chippenham to Village Road. If you put in place multi-purpose Junkanoo shacks for some of the most brilliant artists and artisans in this side of glory, you immediately create an epicenter for where creatives can have a multi-purpose Junkanoo shack that allows you to create, not just big costumes, but miniatures, with a studio in it to create your own original music that ends up on Bay Street, with a cafe to feed not just the practitioners, but the people who visit the multi-purpose Junkanoo shack. And if tourists are going to come there, you need a security system, a Royal Bahamas Police Force working in tandem with residents who see that it is in their interest to keep Bahamians and tourists safe as they descend those steps from Fort Wayne Castle down into Mason's Addition.
Yeah.
Or throughout Chippenham or Coconut Grove, etc. That's but one segment. So we look at changing the infrastructure of the inner cities and hiring the people who live, the artists and artisans who live in those areas, to be a part of the urban renewal of transforming homes, providing a true incentive to any landlord, homeowner, business person that's minded to invest in the inner city, to work with the faith-based organizations so that we are able to have a revolution over the hill in a way that monies can be generated. So we're not talking about just pure volunteerism. A landlord could often get better pay for better facilities if the carpenter, the skilled man who live in that house is employed as a part of the process of changing those homes in that area.
Sure.
And so I see the real potential for building a true urban renewal department. You can't have urban renewal and no urban planners have been hired. No architects who at least did a minor in public administration or again, urban planning, etc.
Right.
So urban renewal is not only about transforming the hardscape, it's about changing lives. So the series of social programs are also important.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be duplicating what Department of Youth or what the Department of Sports can do. So we celebrating ourselves for the urban renewal band, which I love, and I'm glad that they did it. But what about Brother Campbell, who started more bands than anyone who's ever tooted in urban renewal?
Absolutely.
If you empower the likes of Brother McDonald in Grand Bahama or Campbell in New Providence, Over the Hill can flourish with bands, young people who are productively engaged and have a skill that can be revenue generating, as well as playing Highway Church of God, band, etc. So in terms of big idea, we can change Over the Hill. And while we at it, why not stop the misdevelopment in the Family Islands? You already see how we mess up New Providence and parts of 8 Mile Rock, right? Why are we engaged in the horrible city planning of our Family Islands? Just visit and consider how the roads are being designed. We do not have a master plan of what a future Cat Island should look like, or a future San Salvador.
Sure.
So even with generation property, you have some folks that are building at the very front of a property and will have no access to the 50 acres they have in the back of the property, because we haven't taken the time to have a conversation with how do we change the look, the feel, the functionality of our cities. Listen, I ain't the brightest fella there is, but I have enough gray matter to sit with some brilliant people and design a different future than the generation that should be the elder statesman cannot and will not design for us. We need to go in a different direction, and I do firmly believe what we have will not take us there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
You ready to go now, right? Brother Michael Pintard, sir, we appreciate your time. This means the world to us, that you took the time to sit with us. You didn't rush us. You didn't rush out of here. And we're stopping him. He's not stopping us. So we really appreciate this to come. Oh, it's a whole lot of questions. A whole lot of questions.
I'll be happy to come back, my brother.
So definitely we can call you back. We can try to get you before the bell rings, because once the bell rings, I know you can be locked down. So we got to get you before the bell ring. I know when the bell can ring.
Don't mind them. They didn't ring the bell.
It didn't ring?
Yeah, it didn't ring.
Yeah, it feels so. It feels so.
And that's why I believe you need a fixed election date. This nonsense.
You do believe that?
One person.
Oh, you do support that?
I firmly, and a 2-term limit. Firmly support them, of course.
Good. I'm glad to know that.
I'll give you one secret before we go.
Let me end the show, please, Mr. Taylor.
Use the barber shops and the beautician shops and all these other beauty spots. A lot of people congregate there, and people take those spots for granted. You could sit in that shop, and you can see different walks of life come in.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to always go through all these communities. You hit them shops, you hit the people.
That's what we tried to create with the show. That's what we created with the show. We didn't want to pump fake. We wanted to make the barbershop real.
You can imagine they come in my shop and they see Michael Pintard sitting there, and they can have that conversation because they have plenty of questions, but they don't never get to see the real you, only when you're behind the podium.
I got you.
Good. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all be safe out there, man. We out there. You have a great day. Thank you so much, everybody. Good night, man. Have a good day. We go on. Thank you. I'm leader.
Yeah. We gonna do it like this. Ride with me. Yeah. Ride with me. I'm feeling good today. I'm good today. So turn it up and let the music play. Sun's out, not a single rain cloud in the sky. And Mrs. Green got a smile on her face. Okay, check. I'm feeling blessed. I got some bills, but got no stress. I ain't gon' stress. The cards was dealt. He holds the debt. Knowing that, tell me why I'm gon' fret. Switch it up. Yo, como estas, muchacho, vámonos. Like the grill, everybody down for dominoes.